Theoretically speaking, we're live on the internet. Theoretically speaking,
Absolutely, brother.
we're broadcasting live with the old homie from the back in the crib in Detroit, DJ Houseshoes. I'm sure a few people will join us. I saw Los and a few of the other homies from Detroit actually checked in and gave a thumbs up when I posted it on my Facebook page, and got a few people overseas that know you. So hopefully this will be a good conversation. We were already having a good conversation. I had to reboot my internet to make sure we didn't get canceled. Like that shirt. Let's see how that looks.
Yeah, right.
It looks a little hold on. Looks a little choppy, but I think we're good to go.
Word up.
So, starting off, I want to make sure we're on. I want to check on my video channels. You can check yours as well. If you want to share it, shoes.
Oh yeah.
Hit up the what is it? Let you follow it or whatever.
I got you. I'm hosting you on Twitch also.
Fantastic. Thank you. I appreciate the support. Yo, did you get to watch the Kanye West documentary?
I'm back on the fucking team, bro. I am so back on Team Kanye, bro. I bought 5 of them motherfuckers yesterday.
5 of them?
I bought 5 of them.
Got it. Kidding me?
Nah, real shit, man. Fuck the record industry, man. I support disruption wholeheartedly.
Now, which portion of the disruptive behavior or his strategics do you appreciate the most? Because there's a lot to cover there. There's his dislike of the industry. There's his...
he's a leader. So, he's a fucking maniac, but he's a leader.
Right.
And what better than to lead motherfuckers away from all this dumb, free, passive theft of music? You got to pay for this shit, man. I don't give a fuck what anybody says. I don't care what the new model is. I don't give a fuck, yo. You got to pay for this shit. You got to pay for it. If you value it and you care about it, you got to pay for it. Ownership is important. You know what I'm saying? Physical ownership matters. I don't give a fuck about new models. I'm not a new model. You know what I mean?
You're retro.
Yeah.
So really it's about, and I mean, that's why you started your label, I'm sure.
It was definitely a complete reaction to some kid that's really dope being satisfied with loading one of his beats up on the internet and seeing a little red heart. Fuck
right.
That.
The exact opposite.
It's gotta exist. And this shit don't exist, man. I know, there's countries, there's territories where people have woken up and the internet didn't exist anymore. Like, a motherfucker can push a button. If your shit just exists in the cloud and on websites and shit, and you have no physical creation, that shit is not guaranteed ever in your life. You got all your music on a hard drive. Whoops, you dropped it. Oh, fuck. All them 10,000 beats I didn't have backed up. There was a flood, whatever.
Right.
Record's going to fucking live for generations.
It's true. So not just the music, making the music into a physical entity. Vinyl, CDs.
Existence. Physical existence.
How
that's
and
literally
why
that's the only goal of the record label.
Is to create actual physical manifestations of music.
It ain't no competition. It ain't no I'm trying to fucking be the illest motherfucker. I'm selfish as fuck. It's all shit that makes me feel some kind of way. And I feel like if it makes me feel some kind of way, it's going to make someone else feel some kind of way. So let's give it a shot.
Right. What do you think in terms of NFTs? How do you think that's going to work?
I don't care. I wish I did. I tried to care for a minute. I don't care. And I don't do things I don't care about. So fuck it. Missing that bag. Oops.
If it's a real bag.
I don't give a fuck, man. It doesn't exist. It's not real. It's a fucking JPEG. Motherfucker spending $1 million for a JPEG. Yeah, but it exists on the blockchain. Don't talk to me about that shit, motherfucker. I don't care. You know what I mean? Motherfuckers want to have like, man, listen, I don't care. And if I don't care, I don't care.
Right. Why do things that you don't care about? And has
Fucking
that
don't
always
care.
been your policy?
Absolutely. I don't play records. I don't play records I don't like. I don't care. I'm fucking selfish.
I don't know that that's selfish. Selfish is having something and not being willing to share. In other words, if you had music and you
No,
never put it
no.
out. I don't know.
Selfish just means that it's about you. And then for some reason there's a negative connotation to that. Why is that negative? Because you're selfish, because you put yourself first. You can't do anything for anybody else till you properly take care of yourself. So what's wrong with being selfish?
I can't call it.
If
I
I did
wouldn't.
this shit for everybody else, it would suck. Because I don't fucking care. Do this shit for myself.
That makes sense. So the fans matter a lot less than obviously multiple other labels.
Supporters matter. I appreciate fans, but supporters matter. Buyers matter.
The customer.
You know what I mean? Paying customers matter. I appreciate every dime, penny that a motherfucker spends. I appreciate all that.
And you got clients all over the world. What's been your most successful market, you think?
Oh, I mean America, of course. When you look on the map, I have no traction in South America, no traction in Africa, no traction in the majority of Eastern Europe, and Asia. It's just America and like a little bit in Australia, a little bit in the UK, New Zealand. But I don't give a fuck. Once again, I don't care, man. I'm not chasing metrics and worrying about how I'm just going to do the work. I'm just got my head down and I'm going to fucking work. And whatever happens, happens. This is not for me to enjoy the fruits of in my lifetime. You know what I mean?
Right. I mean, you got 2 kids. You pass whatever you do passes on to them. So.
Yeah, it's just a document. You know what I mean? It's kind of like my own little personal fucking museum. You know what I'm saying? We done 80 records in 8 years. It's a nice little number, and I feel that the caliber of music is fucking incredible. By and far, the shit is basically a secret, and I don't have a problem with that.
I don't know if it's a secret. I don't know that you're a secret. I think you've got a lot of people out there who both follow and listen and appreciate you as a curator. Word. And let's roll back to Detroit. Now, do we want to start with the average question, which is what initiated your love of hip hop, or the real question, which is how and when did you decide to be a curator?
Oh, we got to keep it a buck and go real. Fuck all the regular shit. When I got a budget for the first time working at Street Corner Music, when I started DJing and like wanting to make mixtapes for my friends, for like my close homies.
Right.
I always wanted to have the music first so I could put my homies up on it. And then when I started learning how to DJ, I wanted to make the homies like ill mixtapes. And the homies would always be like, man, fuck that, bro. Just put the songs on the tape.
I remember those guys that I remember a cat at Michigan State wanted to have I'm Bad by LL Cool J on tape over and over and over again so he never had to rewind.
Right.
Why would you make that? Like that's something you do for yourself. You go get the 45 or the CD single, you go home and you pause, mix yourself that together, because why would you ask a DJ
right
to, because it's DJing, like the movie High Fidelity, is about finding the right series of records to take the person on a certain journey or deliver a certain message. And if you're not really doing that, what are you really doing?
Fucking around. But sometimes the illest moments come when you're fucking around.
Experimentation is everything.
I mean, there's nothing better than like when you do a blend for the first time at the club and it's crazy and everyone's going through that moment at the same time. You've never heard those 2 records together. They've never heard those 2 records together. And it's like, that's like the ultimate. There's not a lot of innocence left. It's like the most innocent thing. Like we're actually having a moment together that we haven't experienced before. Like how many things have you not experienced? Like what's left? We've been through all this shit, but like moments like that, they still happen. I'll be on the stream fucking around and I'll be like, oh shit, that's crazy. and we're all hearing it for the first time. You know what I mean?
That is amazing. That's an amazing experience. I just received it in the mail as the first experience. The first time you're exposed to a record, those are all Christmas over and over and over again.
Yeah.
Tell me this, for DJs that are out there listening, sets, now that we're talking about fucking around, sets versus programmed mixes. What are your thoughts?
I've never done either.
All right. So it's more about
I might have
in the moment.
I might have put a crate together once. But you get 2 or 3 records in and it's fucking off to the races. Like, no, that's not gonna work right now. You know what I mean? Like I always raw dog. You know what I mean?
Right.
Raw dog. I might pick, it's 5 minutes before my set. I pick 3 records. We're off to the races after that. It's never predetermined.
Real quick, a couple of homies from Michigan, Ty Rush, Ty Sticky, 68's in the house, and Che and Motep Pa is in the house. Che has been to your parties, and so has Ty. They brought. I don't remember if you ever came up to the Cultural Vibe. I know you came up to Lansing before, but they're 2 Lansing homies. Che actually had a question, which is interesting. He said, "Why do you think M hasn't really used a jdilla beat?"
Because it wasn't in the cards. It wasn't supposed to happen, apparently. It might even not. I mean, of course. I mean, why hasn't M rapped on a Primo beat? Why hasn't M rapped on a Pete Rock beat? Why hasn't M rapped on, why doesn't M have an entire project with Alchemist, who's his DJ? It's a lot of questions.
Right. It's just, it's sometimes it's timing. Sometimes it's the vibe that you have. Huh?
He's a pop star. You know what I mean?
At this point, he is not.
It should have happened, but it didn't. I've heard my Duke say that he, him and Paul went over there a couple times. Yeah, it just didn't happen. I mean, there's a few beats that would have been fucking absolutely incredible if you would have touched them. But yeah, man, I'm kind of disappointed with the production that he fucks with. You know what I mean? Like, but it is what it is. Apparently he knows what the fuck he's doing. He even sold 100 million records.
Well, here's a question for you. At our present state, I think not only our president, not only our media icons, but sometimes our MCs and our artists are more, they're more of a, and I hate to make a statement like this, but they're more a cult of personality. Do you think that I would be accurate in saying that? Meaning some people are selling records because of who they are versus what they're making. Is that a reality?
I don't know what these motherfuckers like anymore, man. Like, once again, I don't care. So that's my safe spot. You know what I mean? But It's definitely interesting. I mean, there's a few really, 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 really dope. That's a lot of really dope motherfuckers. There's a lot of motherfuckers that I don't like. And this is where I've matured in the last 10 years, is just because I don't like them doesn't mean that they're trash. It just means that I don't like them. I might feel that shit, that the record industry has been incredibly simplified, as to not allow people to generate proper thinking in their brain when they're listening,
Right.
That's a whole nother fucking talk. You know what I'm saying? But
talk worth having. We got a lot of
so many options. We used to have so many choices. There were so many different cards and colors and flavors and choices we had to listen to. And now it just really seems like they're only pushing for one thing, and they want you to be a stupid motherfucker all day. Big shout to my brother Derek Plazleko in the chat. St. Andrews Hall alumni, Burns Room. It's my brother.
What up, player? I'm so glad that people are showing up. Thank you so much for supporting.
I want y'all to know, first and foremost, the reason we're having this conversation right now. We met each other. Jason Staten is a pivotal person in a pivotal time in my life. You know what I mean? I got a job DJing at St. Andrews Hall. I started easing my way into the scene, just trying to get all the dope records and play them for motherfuckers. That was the goal. That's all it was. Friday night, St. Andrews, main floor. Fucking Jason Staten's at the door. I had him on the list. He brought me so many pivotal records, man. Like he brought me my Shook Ones fucking promo. He brought me, Protect Your Neck, Method Man, all the Woo shit, fucking Mob, that whole Loud Records era. I would be so excited to see this man on a Friday night because I knew he had some shit for me.
I appreciate it. That was just hard work,
Man.
doing that and doing the radio show. I wish you would have had more time to come up to the radio show, up to Michigan State, to the Cultural Vibe. Or
I did it. I fucked around a few times up there. I actually started fucking around with a chick up there for a minute, and that's how I got fired from Street Corner because I was fucking with this chick, and I just didn't go to work for like a week, and we was just fucking and smoking weed. You know what I mean? And I got fired from Street Corner Music, bro. Fucking around in
hired you back though.
Nah.
Oh, that was it.
That was it, bro. Yeah, that was 96. And then 97, I started working at Car City Classics. Yeah. And then, Record Time, and then Melodies and Memories, Jazz and Jams, all that shit.
Interesting reality about hip-hop. To me, hip-hop has always been a music appreciator's art form. Is that a true or false statement, you think?
Explain.
We grew up listening to so much music and exploring so much music, both, through our parents, through radio. Detroit had a very diverse radio market. We bought a lot of music ourselves and borrowed a lot of music from our parents. And because of our exposure to that, we took the fragments and bits and pieces that we like and we reconstructed from that or resuscitated music that was already existing. We had to listen to music that was pre our era to build the music that became our era.
True.
Do you think that still exists? Do you think younger artists refer to and or appreciate the eras that preceded them?
Well, I mean, I would hope so. I mean, there's definitely that population may have decreased. It's just different. I mean, you got to understand, people have been born over the last 20 years.
That's scary.
20 plus years into an ecosystem where physical media just was only for the people that really cared. Like, why would you go to the record store when you can just listen to that shit on YouTube or fucking wherever you listen to it? You know what I mean? Like, I remember when Serato hit, seeing throngs of DJs sell their entire record collection.
Yeah, not just the stuff that didn't matter, but
everything. They would rip the shit that was really important. They would rip the joints that were really important. Motherfuckers was trading hard drives, woo, woo, woo. And it was devastating. I mean, it was the shit because I was buying up a lot of these motherfuckers' records. All the shit I missed, I was copping up. But it's like, man, like, you sure? I would be asking them. I'm like, man, you sure about this, bro? Like, you really gonna get rid of them? Yeah, man, fuck that. And it's like, ugh. You see all this shit?
Yeah.
This shit ain't going nowhere.
I had a garage-sized storage unit full of records, but plus a couple other areas. But I got rid of the stuff that didn't matter for me. And I hate to say this publicly, but having the Dipset album didn't matter as much to me as having J. Rule's album.
I just got rid of and I love Dipset, but the thing is, I just recently went through my hip hop LPs. That was the last thing for me to go through and just do one last purge. I got rid of probably 15 U-Haul boxes. Even before, in January of 2020, I was already on some all right, we about to trim fat this year. If I ain't listening to this shit, or if it's not a personal situation with this record, we're gonna get that shit out of here. You know what I mean?
That makes sense. Shout out to Omari, Love, Don Diva, Detroit
Love,
in the house.
Bro. He's in here?
Yeah, he's in here. What's up, dude?
Love is the motherfucker that made me want to be a DJ. Omari motherfucking Jones lived about 4 or 5 blocks away from my house. I used to pick him up, take him to school, drop him off, went up in his crib one day, and he had all these fucking records. And like I told y'all, I wanted to always have the music first. He had shit that wasn't even out yet. What is this white label that just says, what is NAS? It was like a white record that said NAS on it, and it was the fucking test press for It Ain't Hard to Tell. That shit wasn't even on radio yet. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Like,
I promoted that record. I actually
so
heard
there was so many.
Nas.
You did a great job because that motherfucking record was everywhere in Detroit. I seen that shit under the record bins, all that. I know you was hitting some shops, getting some spares off to put gas in the tank.
No. You know how I broke a lot of records first, and I don't know if you ever heard my mixtapes. I put out mixtapes, then I would hit off the DJs.
Wow.
Then after I hit off the DJs, I would go to the record store. I'd make sure the DJs. I know it's bad, like to make sure that their clientele already had the record, but the guys who went in, like if you looked at Buy Right was a large room, and it had all the records on the walls, and then it had bins like a traditional record store, and the hot records were on the wall. I wanted to make sure that anything I was working was on the wall, and the only way to do that is to create a large demand.
Man, shout to Cliff, shout to A.K.A, shout to Kenny, shout to Dez. That was that era, man. Like, that was literally like 93, 94. Man, Buy Right was a motherfucker, bro.
You know where? You know it was before that, and Derek might not know this or remember this. My man's. Do you remember the group Was Not Was?
Absolutely.
Guy named Charles Scarborough was he still is one of my best friends. Ty knows him. You know, a lot of guys that grew up in Lansing knew him. Charles's mom grew up in Detroit, hardcore Detroit person, and her brother was Robert. And Robert played with Was Not Was, and he knew Cliff since high school. So the first time they ever took me to Detroit, I was 13 or 14, and I was already like getting people to buy me records or bring them back from different places or ordering them. I would order records and run up my parents' phone bill and save all my paper route money and buy records. I used to listen to the Wizard. I used to send in tapes to this thing called the Mixodome that was run by Mojo. I think some of the judges on there were Derek May, Juan Atkins, Kevin Saunderson, later on Minx, all these incredible DJs. Minx is an incredible DJ, just released a record. But we would go in there, and he was like, hey, man, Cliff, this is this kid, Jason. He's my little nephew, Charles's friend. Man, I went in there and spent all my money at Buy Right, and then got the number and was like that. I forgot what I did. I think I might, I used to have to keep your money for your paper route. Man, I spent that. Man, that dude never saw my money, dude. The distributor, he'd have to wait to the end of the month. I'd be like, yeah, I'll get back to you. But yeah, man, Buy Right has existed so long, did exist so long, has a mainstay, and a network center on the west side on 7 Mile and Illinois area for people to come and buy records and learn about music. There were record stores like that in every city. Downstairs Records in New York. Music, was it Joy's Music Room in Chicago? There's a spot in Cleveland that I went to, and that spot in Cleveland is where I bought Jacket for Beats and the Feli Dance, because I heard Jacket for Beats. It was amazing. I bought it and I hadn't opened it yet. I was at my family reunion. Shout out to my cousin Sarah and my cousin Christina. They were all little kids back then, hanging out in my room watching bad movies. We pulled up next to a Jeep, a 5.0, and the 5.0 turned his system up. Like, it wasn't even on. It was so loud, though, you could hear it going, and he punched it, and it was Jacket for Beats, dude. Ooh. My mouth was hanging open. Like, that was one of the hardest records ever made. I literally looked at my record stack and was like, oh boy, like, I can't wait to go home and open this, smell the vinyl, and drop the needle on it. Man. Instant party starter, man. Like, those types of record stores don't exist anymore. The only thing we really do have are curators like yourself, and we go to those people and we find music.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? What's up?
Well, I mean, rest assured, vinyl is doing the same numbers that it was doing 40 years ago. You know what I mean? They're saying Adele, some reports are that she pressed 500,000 copies of her album. Some reports are that she pressed 1 million copies of her new album on vinyl, bro. Like, that's unbelievable. That's why it fucking takes 10 months to press a fucking record. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like, It's out of control, man. Vinyl is being created at rates damn near before that the industry hasn't seen. You know what I mean?
I hope they get the record covers back. One of the biggest and most entertaining things, especially about buying older records, was the artwork, whether that be a Yes record or a Led Zeppelin record or some of the classic jazz records, the photography that was on the CTI records and the Blue Note records.
Blue Note. I mean, the whole jump off of Street Corner Music was the Gift series, and we jacked all the Blue Note covers. You know what I mean? Like that was super fun, bro. That was so fun because it was all. It's kind of interesting. It was very math based, character based, text based. Like how many characters are on this cover, so we can swap it out and have it look really identical. You know what I mean? Like, oh shit, Raj Mahal, Lee Morgan, perfect fit. You know what I'm saying? Jametta Rose, you know, The Gift, Midnight Blue, Kenny Burrell, like a lot of fun doing those covers. A lot of fun.
What do you think has changed intellectually about music and about the people who make music?
Intellectually, not much, honestly, in my opinion. Pop music has always really been low hanging fruit for the most part.
Sure.
You know what I'm saying? Then occasionally you get these records that were organically created that just for some reason connected with everybody. That's where the real magic is. I never understood why the fuck somebody would want to make a record purposefully that everybody likes. Like, what is that?
I don't know. But the thing is, here's a question for you. Purposely making a record that everyone likes versus making a record that's intentionally powerful.
Right. Or unintentionally.
Or unintentionally powerful.
You know what I'm saying?
For instance, I mean, the Beatles are theoretically and probably historically one of the greatest pop and rock groups that ever existed, and one of the most innovative recording art.
Well, let's say they're the most popular.
Some people's right. Well,
let's say they're the most popular.
Backwards records, you know what I'm saying? Reversing the tape and, you know, using the room sound of other rooms without being in the rooms.
Right.
You know, they became, after their second album, strictly
understand
a recording.
They were being produced as well.
Absolutely, by George Martin, sure.
Yeah, like he was. See how shit works? It's like he was doing wild shit. The Beatles are the most popular group of all time, but the producer, it's his fault. He could have took any four motherfuckers and had that group.
You think so?
Because
the songwriting was, although I'm not gonna say. I mean,
the pen is cool. I mean, but in my opinion, all the Beatles covers are better than the originals.
You mean the people who make covers of the Beatles? Or are you saying the records that Beatles, the songs they covered?
Their songs are usually pretty bananas. Like Yesterday is like my favorite song. That's one of my favorite songs in life. Their version is cool, but I don't know, man. It's like a wet towel.
Yesterday is like a wet towel. That's, if this was an article, that would be the picture with the quote under it. Like that would be the byline. Like, what did he say? I gotta go back and read this. I don't understand. That I love a lot of Beatles records because of the harmonies and the way they assembled things. And the production was great. What I did is I bought the Beatles, that the album that consolidated all their recordings, and you got to hear some of the ones that were stripped down without heavy production and overdubs. And it's remarkable how simple they were, but how interesting and talented and some of the decisions they made. It also was interesting watching them in Get Back. I bought them up purposely because they are the ultimate example of almost everything worked for them except for Magical Mystery Tour. Almost everything worked except for Magical Mystery Tour. And honestly, Magical Mystery Tour is one of my favorite records.
Yeah, I mean, some of the best records ever are the ones that they say didn't work.
Right. Because what is it? I mean, unfortunately, it's like Jay-Z. If if you're the Beatles or you're Jay-Z and you only sell 1 million records, they're like, that was a failure.
Right.
We must have done something wrong there. Versus,
I mean, Arthur Veracai's album was a flop, bro.
but and it's brilliant.
And that's like, I mean, in my opinion, I have not heard a record better than that in my lifetime. And
Real
it
quick,
flopped. They ground his records up to press more copies of the most popular record on the label.
Dude, that and the double press records. Remember we used to, especially like some of the house records, you would get them and you'd be like, did they literally press this on top of it? You can hear another record. You're like, what is going on? Yo, shout out to Plastico. Greta lady showed up. Kim G is in the house. Thanks for coming up. We've missed a couple people just because it's flying through. I really appreciate everybody coming through and listening. My goal is to have more conversations like this. We'll talk about Twitch later, but one of the things about Twitch is as soon as I saw it happen, I immediately started thinking about not how could I do something successful on Twitch, but how I could do something that mattered.
Right.
It's such a powerful format, but if you're just using it just to entertain yourself, there's nothing wrong with that. I just don't know that suits me very much, unless I'm exposing you to a new record. What's the
shit,
point?
I'm a partner now. I'm a partner. Woo woo,
dude.
How did you get to be? Apparently, it's a big deal. I'm excited. If you are.
I'm excited for you. Everybody covets that, man. You can't, when everybody wants something and you've got it, you have to at least appreciate the fact that you've gotten it.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
I'll take it.
Yeah. I gotta get Plaz on here and a couple other people. Who's that? That Philith? Is that who that is?
That filth.
That filth? Is that what that says? My screen is across the room, so it's so small when I'm looking at it. Quantize is on here. Shell 19. What's up? Everybody's congratulating you. It's gangster that you got that. That's gonna open up opportunities for you that you wouldn't get otherwise. I think now it becomes even
just increases like tool. Presence on Twitch, and you get a little bit more. I heard you might get like 70% from the subs.
That's
it's dope, man. I mean,
who can be mad at that?
I'm not mad at it. It's just I don't need to be validated. You know what I mean? Like, I appreciate it, but it's like, everybody feels like they need something to show the world that they are who they are. And it's like, you don't need to do shit, but show the world who the fuck you are. Like, we don't need blue checks and fucking official shit like that. We're already official.
I know I don't have I don't have any checks other than the ones I cashed for all the work that I did back in the day. Right. And in fact, I'm still building radio stations and stuff. That's, every time I finish something and it works, I'm cool with that. Do you know what I mean? Like, if I can help somebody, it was an honor to help the people that I helped. Now, sometimes it's a little weird to see them like on TV, like do it like as a movie character,
right?
Like as what I'm saying, like as a movie character, or worse, them playing a movie character, and you're just like, I know that dude, and it's kind of like he's playing himself. It's a little weird. It's also odd to see people become caricatures of themselves.
Yeah.
No names or anything, but I think we've both watched people.
No names, but everybody. Like, that's the world we live in, bro. It's super frustrating. Like, you used to have a seat. You used to have to go somewhere and see a motherfucker to see how stupid he was, and now they just show you all day, every day on social media.
Sure, well, they do it to themselves. Let's be honest.
It's just all about perception and how somebody wants you to perceive them. It's basically just lying all day, just like the ladies do with the filters on their pictures. Like, it's a lie. You're lying to us, ladies. Stop doing that shit. Turn the filters off. We want to see you for what you are.
I've been in a lot of places, and mostly the most interesting thing I think in my recent travels has been seeing people take pictures of themselves. I think if you're in Joshua Tree and you're taking a picture of yourself more than once.
It's really gross, man. It's fucking disgusting. It's fucking gross, man. Like, the world we live in. Like, my lady's got like a 14-year-old daughter, and wherever she goes, she's checking the lighting and seeing how she looks in case she has to take a FaceTime or some shit.
What's up, Steve Bizzle? What's up, mouse outfit?
It's devastating, Like, it's really devastating.
It's
the real world is social media And I don't know what the fuck the shit we're living anymore is.
I'm not
Because,
sure.
everyone just, it's such a priority to put your face on and show everybody some other shit.
Yeah, it's it's a magnification of our own tendency to be narcissists. It's amazing we have two eyes and they face out at the world. We have two ears, they're facing out towards the world, two nostrils, and then we spend all the time putting something in front of us or in our ears to isolate us so that we can focus on what we're saying or what
Well,
we're doing.
I don't know, bro. I don't know if it's narcissism. I just think everybody is trying to fit in and they feel like that's what they got to do. You know what I mean? Like, fuck. Everybody's image of everybody else is
manufactured.
It's not real, yo. So then in turn, you figure out how to not be real on accident because you think that not being real is that's the new shit.
No, it's a trend. And I feel like because of the cycle of social media, everything is becoming a trend. Meaning, your opinion of me is not my business.
That is championship shit right there. That's how you get rings right there.
Yeah,
that's how you get the ring. That's how you get the championship. Thank
you, Vero La Chicana.
Not being fucking concerned with another motherfucker's opinion. Like,
you can't.
I had my homie J1, man, who passed damn near 10 years ago. It would have been his 43rd birthday yesterday. He was so stuck on motherfuckers gotta respect me. Hey, dog. And like, if you ever felt like he was disrespected, like the entire world would crumble and he would go nuts. Like, who gives a fuck?
Yeah.
The only people that I want, the only people I care about respecting me is the people that I have respect for.
Right.
And half the time, that shit don't even matter. Like, who fucking cares, man? Like, what are you in it for? You in it to impress another motherfucker? Or, I don't know, man. I'm just over here with my head down doing the fucking work. That's all that matters to me.
And that's, that's an important part. You've put out 80 records. 80 records. Over
that's
15
just Street
artists.
Corner too. That's just Street Corner.
Right. That's just label. That particular brand.
Yeah.
How do you locate most of your artists?
Organically.
That's a very overused word. So.
Well, but it's real though. Like,
it's true. But I think.
So Twami, all right. Twami's a good example. I don't get a lot of traction on a lot of this shit. You know what I mean? Because I don't care about what people want to hear. I hear music that I like. I want people to like it too. Twami is one of the few people that really gets some decent traction on the label. And I was at Knowledge's Boiler Room show like fucking 10 years ago. And he played a Twami joint. And I was like, whoa. And there's literally like footage of it. Like you can see that moment, which is fucking amazing. You can go to YouTube. It's a fucking Knowledge Boiler Room set, and he plays this Twami joint. It's a fucking Donny Hathaway flip. And you can see me look up and walk across the room to him and be like, yo, what the fuck is that? And he's like, yo, it's Twami. He's crazy. That's how, you know what I mean? Like
that's how you discover a good record, though. Honestly, somebody plays it.
Soundtrack is fucking whooping everybody's ass. How'd I get hit the Soundtrack? I met Soundtrack at NAMM like 4 or 5 years ago. He was playing beats randomly. I pressed him. I was like, yo, you got some shit. I gave him my card. And he didn't send me beats for like 3 years because he was shook. And then I finally cornered his ass and he sent some beats and we made a fucking album. And then we released another one 6 months later. And then 6 months from now, we go release another one.
Incredible.
That kind of shit, bro. Like real world, real life activities. You know what I mean?
Each artist is different.
I'll just be scrolling and woo, that shit is dope. This motherfucker only got 200 followers.
Each artist is absolutely. Each artist is unique on your label. It's not a label of,
I fuck with individuals, man. I fuck with individuals. In a world of people that are trying to be everything to everybody, I fuck with people that do one thing really fucking good and do it unlike anybody else. I like artists where you can't reverse engineer them. You're like, damn, who does he listen to? I have no fucking idea. This motherfucker sounds like nobody I've ever heard. There's nothing more exciting than that. You know what I mean? First time I heard Quelle rap. Woo! What? Who was that? He sounded like the strangest conglomeration of so many different things. But you can't put your finger on it. You can't easily just be like, duh, duh, duh. That's what it is. No, it ain't that. You ain't never heard a motherfucker like this before.
And that's important. I think it's important for people to not just have their own voice in terms of this is what I'm saying in my head and this is what I'm putting out and this is how I feel, but a unique delivery and cadence and style that basically is unlike anything else, so that it's completely unique and it opens a new door for people who are listening.
Yeah.
You know, that's
frustrating when somebody comes out and is the imitation usually gets the credit. The imitator, you know what I mean? The motherfucker that's keeping secrets and finding other motherfuckers, and like, I'm so tired of hearing motherfuckers rap like Kendrick.
Yeah, and there was a Ghostface moment where everybody sounded like Ghostface.
Kendrick is so good. Kendrick is so good. I'm tired of motherfuckers like, you get motherfuckers like, Kendrick. I'm like, no, he's literally one of the best rappers ever in the world, ever. But let him, like, he's Kendrick. You're not Kendrick. Why are you rapping like him, yo?
He's
like,
got his own style.
Why do you rap? I remember, like, I had a motherfucker from Detroit send me a record like 2 years ago that I heard in passing, but I wasn't really locked in. Maybe 3 years ago. I wasn't really fully paying attention. I heard it in passing, and I was like, yo, that's dope. And I hit him, like, send me that record. And he sent me the record. And, like, halfway through the record, I'm like, oh, bro, like, you're really doing, like, the angry fucking Kendrick. Oh, you know what I mean? Like, it's like, right. Oh, it's Kendrick. Like, how can you do that, bro? How can you do someone else's shit and act like you doing something?
You know, I don't know. Imitation, it's ultimately, in my book, not a form of flattery.
It's not. But the further piece is, you know, what do they say? It starts, you start being great by imitating, then emulating, which I don't really understand the difference. And then, you know, the greats have all started off imitating and learning how to do the things that other greats did before they found themselves. But the motherfuckers I fuck with never did that. They was just dope on their own shit.
Yeah, I mean, you know, it's. I'll put it this way: if you want to just focus it down to DJing, a lot of people emulated DJ Premier. The like the scratches, especially the cuts that you heard on their second and third albums.
Oh, that's. Like it's a lot textbook. Of people. It's textbook, though. I mean, he's a pillar of this shit, and basically, you know, that's how cuts on a hook are supposed to sound. He brought that shit to the forefront.
Absolutely, but you don't have to do it exactly the way he did it. And a lot of people, if you went to a party, you heard him cutting. You know what I'm saying? Like another sound the same way he cut that sound. And I think that, you know, that in itself is kind of one of those things where you do learn by imitating and emulating somebody's style. And then if you don't evolve past emulation, then you're still just a biter. Yeah. You know, a lot of people imitated Rakim on records, and they learned a little something because instead of them, you know, for a while, I think he described, it was a video I was watching, he described him recording, and he said, Sham was like, yo, you got to go in. Like, you got to, and he was like, let me just do this my way. Let me just do, you know, and when he did that, he opened up a whole different lane, and he created something different. Then I think by the time you got to the album, the Follow Leader album, all these other MCs was like, yeah, I'm going to, you know, I don't know if they even intentionally did it.
But they couldn't do it. They could try.
They could try, sure.
That motherfucker was so cold on those 3 albums, bro. Like, that was one of the hardest 3 album runs ever.
Yeah, if not, you know, absolutely. Like, a lot of greats have only had 3 great albums. You know what I'm saying? 3
greats have only had 1 good album.
I still listen to Chill Rob G's album.
Remember, I don't. God bless him though.
Ride the rhythm.
Like, my shit, bro. Like I can't fuck with the old school. Like I listen to it nostalgically. Like I haven't listened to a Run DMC record in my spare time in probably 15 years. It's no shot. My shit, I like beats, man. Like my shit is production based. Mecca and the Soul Brother is the greatest album. Well, I wouldn't say greatest, but
one of the greatest albums, and especially of that era and throughout time.
The most important for me, just because as far as production, it just raised the fucking bar. That was 1992. Man, get the fuck out of here. That shit was crazy. If you really fucking listen to them beats and pay attention to what's going on, like my shit starts Paid in Full. You know what I mean? And that's a much older, but like Paid in Full I can fuck with because there's just more musicality in the beats. All the old simple, just like drum shit, LO. I'm not gonna listen to that shit in my spare time.
I'm not gonna lie to you. You might be mad at me for this. Hold up, I'm gonna give something. Vero La Chiquinas said, "I'd add that some artists are sensitive to the current moment and are oh my god, it got away from me. Basically, I couldn't paraphrase what he said, but I think people are sensitive to the moment, and then their music reflects the moment, and and people are interested in that moment, if you know what I mean. Like in other words, in a moment, people emulate what's going on.
Everyone's trying to be relevant, bro. Like you can't make a fucking fantastic, timeless, infinite album. You can't make something that's gonna last forever when you're concentrating on right now.
No, I think you have to. I think you have to separate yourself. I think to do something innovative, it's just like the iPhone. You have to look past what people are doing and look at what would be cool for people to do and risk that failure. I mean, if you can remember, I was running around Detroit when I'm giving out, ultramagnetic tapes and stuff like that. People are like, ultramagnetic? Like, what is this?
That's like the complete opposite of 95% of people in Detroit. They don't want to hear no fucking ultramag. You know what I mean?
Right, but I mean, those records, and I'm not making myself responsible for them, both by playing them on WDBM and when I guessed it on CHB and a couple other stations, and when I'd sneak up and play stuff thanks to Billy T and Reggie Hot
Billy T. Big shout.
I used to, whether you knew it or not, I used to go up there and sneak in my mixes and my tapes. Like make a 30-minute mix or whatever, and sometimes they will play them, and I really appreciate that.
Interview, bro. I got the whole interview. Like they took some bits and pieces for J Stay Paid.
Yeah,
the whole Billy T. Dilla interview.
Billy has one of the best voices in broadcasting to come out of Detroit. He's also incredibly smart and inquisitive. And I think he's got a great grasp of radio. I loved what he did during the pandemic when he just was going around, walking around, talking about Detroit and showing people different places. I thought that was fantastic. What's up, Big Dave? Anybody who has the ability, share this stream, share the conversation with your people so that they can enjoy and contribute to the conversation as well. Just use your little Twitch button or share it from Facebook, wherever you happen to be getting it at. And they need to go out and start checking out, if they have not, all the vast music that Houseshoes has been putting out for these last several years. You're talking about 80 records just on Street Corner, not to mention the other stuff he's put out, not to mention going on and finding the stuff that he's done online in terms of Boiler Room sets, in terms of, actual other sets that are out there that you can hear. There's a lot of archive material. He's been vastly successful at
a lot of that
impacting.
Shit is really drunk and really messy at times, but it's fun. You know what I mean? Like
it doesn't matter. Honestly, selection versus technicality. There's a lot of great technical DJs that don't have great selection. And selection can do more at a party than anything else. DJ Mars pointed out you can, scratching, doubling up records, going back and forth, that never rocked a party. As a tool, it can enhance what you're doing to rock a party, but that's not what's rocking a party.
Always that one motherfucker like, hey, man, like, chill, bro.
There's not one. There's all the women at the party.
Scratch on the hooks. You can scratch on the hooks, bro. We had a homie, I forget his name, but he used to bring an extra turntable and a mixer. And it'd be like, bro, like, it eventually just got to be like, man, you can't fucking come back here next week, bro, because don't nobody want to hear that shit.
It's
We
not
don't
a
want to hear
battle.
you grabbing all over the fucking verses. Like, we don't want to hear that. You can do like 4 bars on the fucking hook here and there, but come on, homie. Like,
Especially now, you can rebuild records.
it's like
You can
breakdance.
literally.
It's like break dances in the fucking right in front of the stage, kicking bitches in the face, doing windmills. It's the same shit. Like, we're in a ballroom, homie. Like, go in the corner or something. Like, motherfuckers is trying to party. No disrespect, but you just kicked the cutest bitch in the club in the face, and she's got to go to the hospital.
Not just that, just literally, you would break up whatever was going on that the energy of the party had. It literally would stop when breakdancing would start. Like, literally, it was dope and I enjoyed it. But when breakdancing like would intervene in a party, then it was going in a different direction, and the party had to come back to where it was.
Yeah, and then they'd be like, "Man, you ain't hip hop, bro." It's like, bitch, like, do you hear the records I'm playing?
Yes, but there's only 4 in terms of your interpretation of hip hop, sir. There are only 4 of you here.
Right.
There's you and the other 2 dudes that came with you, and then the dude that you were breakdancing against, and everybody else here just wants to hear a good record. Man. Everybody here just wants to hear Bad Times. I don't know.
An old girl got a black eye now because you kicked her in the fucking face.
Right, you kicked her in the face, and now she's knocked out, and she's going out on the stretcher. And, we don't know if she's going to be able to pass math class now. We don't know how she's going to walk on Monday. She might be real messed up in her tight jeans. By the way, I just want to point out that skinny jeans were actually invented by Kmart. We used to make fun of girls because original skinny jeans had no back pockets.
Oh.
So, people need to give Kmart a lot more credit. I remember, dude, the cheap, I'm talking about the cheap jeans. The jeans that the girl that wasn't rich, her mom and dad or lower middle class, she had several pairs of those. Those were skinny jeans, the stretchy jeans.
Yeah. It's like, wait a minute. They ain't jeans. They just like printed some jean shit on the cloth.
Right. They were literally leggings with denim print on them. It's
fake
crazy.
denim leggings.
It's
amazing.
Crazy. I think it's dumb to ever ask somebody what their favorite era is. I think
my
it's dumb.
golden era.
Huh?
I'll tell you. Sorry to cut you off. I will tell you. When it started, I say it probably started with like 90, late 91 Black Sheep album era around that time. 90, maybe 90. But for all intents and purposes, like 92 to 96.
So from that period, what were your favorite records and artists?
Oh, Mobb Deep, bro. The Infamous is fucking the best thing that God ever created, if God exists. That record is just the most perfect creation ever for me.
Were you in it?
P-Rock and Still Smooth, Mecca and the Soul Brother. I had a reckoning recently when I realized that the main ingredient is so not even. I used to think the main ingredient was better than Mecca and the Soul Brother. It is not. There's like a run on side B where they put like all the soft shit in a row, like all the shit with the sing-songy. It was like 4 songs in a row that was just soft, and it was like, oh, yo, Mecca and the Soul Brothers whooping this motherfucker's ass.
It was a great radio record. It had
shit.
several great radio records.
Esham from that era. Esham was the first Detroit motherfucker that I really fucked with.
Really?
Oh yeah, absolutely. His beats were crazy, man. And
a lot of people wanted to sign Esham,
And he was like, "Fuck y'all, I'm keeping all the money for myself." Esham was the first rap artist from Detroit to make $1 million on a calendar year. He did all the beats. It's fucking crazy, man. Like, he was really dope.
Esham was dope, period. His material was scary, but he was dope.
Like, OC was a fucking incredible. That whole, like, OC, Organized Confusion, man, the 2 OC album, the second OC album was fucking so good. All that shit, man. It was just pure, man. And I remember, I can remember the exact day that something changed. I couldn't tell you exactly what it is, but the third Friday in May of 1996, that was the last time that it was what it was. That it was fucking flawless. It was complete. And I can't tell you what the difference was aside from telling you that after that week there was something missing. Like there was a spice that was removed, the magic. There's a little piece of the magic that was gone. You know what I mean? Because it was a lot of money starting to come in, and it was decisions to be made. It was like the fork in the road. Like, we gonna get this money, or we gonna just stick to this rap shit and keep it real. And some of your favorite motherfuckers made some of the worst records you ever heard in your life.
Sure. What's up, Sincere to DJ? Yeah, there were a lot of misses that we ignored, and they were honestly, it is the music appreciators Achilles heel that sometimes we just accept other people's garbage. Like,
Yeah.
meaning, you know, if somebody makes a great record, we'll go into their second album and we'll rationalize why it's a great album.
Yeah.
And you're telling yourself, and if you're the guy that's the naysayer, you're saying to yourself, nope. And they're like, no, it's so much better, because no, dude, this is not that album. This is not that music. You know, sometimes, I mean, honestly, dude, sometimes it's as much as, it's several things. Sometimes it's how they mixed it the second time. Somebody had them master it differently. Sometimes it's they decided, I'm going to go work with this producer.
Well, and sometimes, too, on the other side of the coin, you just on the first one so hard that you miss the second one.
Honestly,
you know what I'm saying?
yes, that has happened.
Well, my example is The Infamous, which is actually the second album. But I was so stuck on The Infamous. Hell on Earth was the shit when it came out. I was working in the fucking mailroom at BMG out in Troy when that shit came out. And it was dope, but The Infamous was just always my piece. But when Prodigy died, that was the first time I ever really cried about a musician passing. Because that shit, come on, yo. Like, I was snot-nosed up in this bitch all day. It was crazy. I think I played on IG Live all day, fucking blowing boogers on camera. You know what I mean? And after he passed, I put that motherfucking Hell on Earth on for like a week. It was like the only thing that I listened to for like a week. And it was like, God damn, man, this shit is almost like it's at least as good as The Infamous.
It's an incredible album, dude. That's, you know, hit it from the back.
It's more the rhymes are more refined. The rhymes are actually crazier.
Peer Pressure
hit on the production had kind of, you know what I mean? Like, and that's something that I've been listening to for the majority of my life. And perspectives, just to saying all this to say that, you know, nothing is permanent, man. Perspectives on records you've had for 30, 40 years can always change. You know what I mean?
Absolutely. I kept throwing records at you to see what you would say. So, prior to them being on Loud, Peer Pressure.
That shit was whack.
You didn't like Peer Pressure?
That shit was whack. It was cool. Like, Peer Pressure was the only song on that record that I fuck with.
Cop Hell?
Because the beats. I'm a beat motherfucker. You got to get me with the beat before I'm listening to you. I'm not going to listen to what the fuck you saying if that beat ain't shit. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm not going to listen to one word of your raps. I'm a beat dude. Like, I used to buy records to play at St. Andrews. I was playing instrumentals prime time 30 fucking years ago almost at the club. Like, I would listen to the instrumentals on the 12 inches first. Then hopefully the raps were decent. If they weren't, who cares? I got the beat. I'm going to play this motherfucker. I was a hired gun at all the MC battles in Detroit. Like, you should see how excited and geek rappers would be to walk in and see that I was the DJ for the MC battle. Because I had that motherfucking heat. The beats was, woo! I had beats nobody ever heard. People wanted to fight to rap on the motherfuckers.
Now, were these beats that you created or these beats that you
found? Like just random fucking, you know, I started ordering records when I was at fucking Street Corner.
Yeah.
Then when I went to Record Time, I would help Huck, rest in peace, fucking king, Mike Huckabee. I would help him with the orders. He would hand me the Fat Beat sheets and the TRC sheets. And And the beats were always like, man, who got the beats, man? Like you used to actually get on phone calls with your sales reps and they would have a speaker in front of them and they would play you records over the phone when you had your order call. You know what I mean? Like shit used to be so G. It's crazy.
Mike Huckabee is one of the most revered and respected names in Detroit music history for various reasons.
Man.
I think he influenced multitudes of people's careers, both as the person who was a tastemaker that gave them records and as a producer and as a DJ. I don't know any program directors and DJs that were ever successful in Detroit that never had a conversation with Mike during the time that he was active in Detroit.
Three of the most important people, bro, like in my when my inception and my introduction to DJing, records, playing records for people publicly in Detroit, you, Huck, and fucking Mark Hicks, and I'll say Tita Pimp too. Like y'all had me laced, man. Like for some reason, y'all just, like, man, this motherfucker, explain that to me. I never understood why. Like, who is this motherfucker? Y'all just embraced me with open arms, man. Like Huck saw this little white motherfucker in the record store and believed in him. And he had that little stack for me every Friday before the club. He had the test presses from Nervous and fucking all that shit. Anything that came through the shop that was some hip hop. He called me his hip hop soldier, man. Like I was just always so curious why y'all fuck with me. I'm so grateful.
I always liked you as a person. I always thought you were straight up. I never felt you were playing a character. I think some people, I always felt like they were playing a character, and that always bothered me a bit. And then also, I inherited, my mom and dad both have this thing where if you don't really talk to them, or you don't engage them, like if you don't look them in the eyes, it's instantly a problem with them. Right. My mom does not like any level of concepts. We were in a Home Depot when they moved to Georgia. This is just before my dad died. We went to Home Depot. She needed to have her office put together, so she wanted me to wire some stuff up and help her with some other things. And a girl at the counter was mumbling. She was doing the standard Georgia mumble. And my mom, because she's from Birmingham, Alabama, and her family's from Georgia, my grandmother actually used to make like the presidents and congressmen and senators' dresses as a seamstress. She didn't take any garbage from anybody, regardless of their social standing.
Right.
So somebody told me my mic is out. Do you hear me?
I hear you, bro. Loud and clear.
Okay, I'm not sure. So anyway, my mom, she didn't berate the girl, but she basically told her, "I don't understand you," like 8 times. And then the girl like had to speak proper English. Yeah. And when she didn't, my mom stared at her, and then I saw the girl like at first try to woman up, and then she just kind of like cowered and was kind of like, okay, like, have a nice day. Like,
I've never heard that term before, bro.
Don't be like, you can't be.
No, woman up. I've never heard that. I've always heard man up. That's fresh though. I've never heard.
She had to grow up in 15 seconds, or I thought my mom was going to smack her. Right. I just think, you were a direct person. I think Huckabee was super serious and direct. He had a great sense of humor, but he was a very serious and direct guy. Right. And with me, he didn't give me anything. Like, I gave Huckabee records, but Huckabee would torture me. I would have to go get the record from the distributor or buy it if he happened to have it first. It did not. And that was him. And then I had a little bit of beef, as with other street promoters, because the labels, that they weren't getting traction, they would call me and be like, "I'll give you $500 if you, give this to your people."
You're done, right?
Yeah, if you work this record. But I wasn't going to work any record that I didn't think I could make work. I threw somebody's record. A couple people's records were thrown into Lake Michigan, Grand River, and the Detroit River. Like, somebody didn't pay me once, and I remember driving down the road and them saying, "Well, we're not going to be able to get a check out until I," and I literally rolled the window down and threw the box of stuff out. And I felt bad because that's somebody's career.
Fuck them.
But I literally threw it out the window and watched it go over the ledge and said, "Don't worry about it."
That's amazing.
And when they called me back about it, I said, "I don't have it. Like, I don't have your records. Don't worry about sending me the money. Like, it's fine."
Yeah.
Huck, I believe it's his. It's not the Tambour record. It's maybe it's a record called Treasure. I have to look in the computer right now. But I, as you know, first fell out of favor with house and techno, and then fell out of favor with hip hop, and that's what introduced me to groups like Air and and Modest Mouse and all these other groups. Like I always listened to alternative, but
I never gave any of that shit a shot, bro.
I did. If you listen to my mix, and I probably turn you off, and you probably turn my mix off all the time. But I play a lot of that stuff. Like if you listen back to the archives of my various mixes, I play a lot of that stuff. I mean, it's funny because Mike used to see me, and he would name off records, and we both, I think, listened to stuff outside of hip hop and house and techno.
Right.
Mike, you were never deterred by other people's negative stuff. I literally turned my drum machines off sometimes. Like I literally didn't see where I was going with music and couldn't make music. If I didn't think there was a way for a record to come out, I couldn't do it. If I was in the studio and too many people were talking or had too much of an opinion, I would just be, well, let him mix your record, and I'll leave.
Right.
I remember I had stopped listening to house and techno, and then I had copped some digital records from somebody, and I re-listened to Mike Huckabee's The Treasure track. I was playing a bunch of records, and I listened to it, and I was like, this is a really great record. This is a really Detroit record. Like, it had the drive to it. To me, Detroit records, any Detroit record that's a great Detroit record, sounds like you're doing 75 miles down the lodge trying not to get pulled over.
There we go. Yep.
You know, I was not as into the Detroit sound until I listened back to it because I was so turned off by hip hop. And I loved DJs and I loved intros to records. And by the time a lot of people, when I was there, weren't as successful. Meaning there was a lot of guys at the hip hop shop we hung around with that they were still green tomatoes, so to speak.
Right. Absolutely.
Nothing's wrong with a green tomato, but it's not a tomato yet.
Right.
You can't make ketchup with green tomatoes. I've heard people have done it, but I don't see it. And I didn't hear a lot of stuff while I was in Detroit because I don't think it was there. But years later, when I was working at Radio 1 the second time, and a lot of stuff started coming out, Obi Trice started to come out.
Right.
Slum Village's later record started to come out. Donuts came out. I was like, the hip hop market has evolved drastically in Detroit. I wish I was there for that.
Right.
But Mike, in terms of his ear, across the board. And that's not everybody in Detroit. There's a lot of people that are like, I'm the greatest DJ in the world.
Man, motherfuckers knew too. Like, if you shopped at Record Time and you went to the dance room on a Friday, and this motherfucker might have never said a word to you in his life, but if he handed you a record, you better buy that motherfucker.
You better buy that record.
Because he knows you. He knows what you fuck with from seeing you come into the shop every week. He might have never said a word, but he knew the tip that every regular in that room was on. And there was usually a point in time where at least the majority of those people, he would hand a record to you. You know what I mean? I remember when he fucking played the Tony Allen record for me. He was like, man, fucking check this out. And he played me that shit. And I was like, woo, this shit is crazy. That was like kind of like the first Afrobeat shit. That was my introduction to Afrobeat. I wasn't really hip to Fela at the time. He played me that Tony Allen record. I called JD immediately. I was like, bro, come up here right now. Come to the shop right now. Come get this Tony Allen record.
I'm telling you right now, him.
Motherfuckers got heat.
That's who reminded me? You know who Huck's before the Huck for me before Huck as far as a Detroit dude that I really connected with? Anthony Shakir.
Oh man, Shake. Man, Shake is a king, bro. A king among men. Absolutely.
What's up, DJ Riff? I think Daddy Riff might be on here.
Brother. 12 Tech Mob in this bitch.
It's Huck. In terms of an ear, like I wish there was a Huck radio station.
Oh man, fuck.
You know what I mean? Like I wish
he was like, once again, he was such a singular.
One of a kind.
A singular being, yo. Like there was nobody like Huck. There was nobody like Huck, bro.
No.
He was a hip hop. He was a hip hop soldier back in the day. He would. This motherfucker used to ride the bus to New York and stay at the fucking YMCA.
And buy records.
Quarter and record Mr. Magic, and then get on the bus and come back to Detroit. You know what I mean? Then he got tired of the sausage party shit, and he started playing house records, making house music. You know what I mean?
Mike was amazing. Every time he saw me, he used to sing the J. Rue hook. I don't know if you remember. I bought J. Rue. We rode down to Detroit. He flew in, and I drove around everywhere with J. Rue. I saw him time gets away from you when you get older. You're like, I saw him 2 or 3 years ago. He's like, nope, that was 8 to 10 years ago. You're slipping.
I'm trying to remember where he played, because it wasn't Cruz. It was.
I took him to the hip hop shop. I took him to Buy Right. I took him through Record Time. We went to JLB and HYT. And it might have been what's a little spot that Wu-Tang, Wu-Tang did there. Maurice
the
paid.
The Mecca.
It might have been the Mecca, or it might have been 20-something, 2012. It was on right off Grand River downtown.
I just remember tripping because he was trying to fuck all the white girls. And I was like, oh, J. Rue, goddamn, bro. Like, you talk all that shit on your records. You out here trying to fuck the white girls, bro.
Todd Jones is in the house. Now, if anybody doesn't know who Todd Jones is is a brilliant music aficionado. He's a credible writer from Dance Music Report era and for a couple other magazines. And Todd's a great DJ if you ever can catch him online. He's also an amazing photographer, Todd Jones. But he's in the house. Todd is how he's how I met Diamond D and Showbiz before I met Diamond D and Showbiz. I met Finesse over the phone because I knew Jeff Sledge, and I started playing his record when he was on Wild Pitch. This is when I was in, I want to say I was in the 12th grade maybe, but I got Funky Technician. And I played every record. Speaking of records that you can play start to finish that are from that era, you can play Lord Finesse start to finish.
Yo, Showbiz was always like, Showbiz was one of like the real mystical. I always felt like some real gangster shit from Showbiz. You know what I mean? Like,
he's hard, dude.
Showbiz like, there's a whole story about how they killed their manager and shit. Like he always seemed like the motherfucker out of all these dudes that we didn't really seen fucking with this rap shit. I always felt like Showbiz was like the motherfucker that would be sitting at the table smoking a cigar and just end your motherfucking life. You know what I mean?
He is and was a real straight ahead dude. And yeah.
Dog, AG back in the MySpace era, bro. Not to interrupt, but like AG, like I had my MySpace page, Trick the Fuck Out, like top 32 and all that bullshit. And AG hit me up like, hey man, like, how'd you do that with your page, bro? And I was like, I can't type all this shit out to you right now. And I'm kind of drunk. But if you call me, I'll tell you how to hook your shit up. You know what I mean? So it's like 2:00 in the morning. That's probably like early 2000s, like maybe 2003 or some shit. And I'm telling fucking AG how to fire up his fucking MySpace page, bro.
MySpace was quickly abandoned and turned into a world of perverts. It literally was MySpace became a human trafficking zone.
Bro, but then he was like, out of nowhere, he's like, I'm working on this new album. I know you fuck with Dilla, man. I got a Dilla beat. You want me? I want to play it for you, bro. Can I play you this song? I got like AG's talking to me. Like, it's crazy. The shit that happens in rap world is the wildest.
It doesn't make any sense.
He's like, yo, like, my lady's sleep. Like, he's in his bedroom. He tells me his lady's sleep, so he can't play it that loud. And he's got his phone up to the motherfucking boombox or some shit. You know what I mean? Playing me the shit he did with Dilla, and I'm hearing that for the first time. Unbelievable, bro. Like, are you kidding me?
Get Dirty Radio. Todd's talking about a line now. AG is dope. Dude, I watched AG's videos about making tracks on YouTube.
Word.
Like these guys, again, the era between, say, 1988 and 1997, 98. The people
Yeah.
that came out during that era, whether you're talking about Southern rap, West Coast rap, Michigan, are all really, for the most part, some really well-read, really diversely talented people,
Yeah.
like really extraordinarily smart and talented people. Some of the, Todd's to this day one of my best, one of my best friends that I have. Meaning, Todd, when my brother died, in 1992, Todd drove out from New York, drove his car out to his act out, out and hung out,
That's
made
a
a
real
couple
motherfucker
parties.
right there. Absolutely.
He's a real, he's a real dude. You know what I'm saying? Devin Roberson, prior to dying, we used to sit on the phone and talk for hours. And it's not like you're trying to holler at her or Taish or Timbisa Mshaka. These are people who are so smart, so
Yeah.
insightful, so visionary that you wanted to be their friend because they were going to change the history of everything. Busta Rhymes, you could see not just like being in his physical presence, of course, and listening to him. This is a guy who's going to change hip hop forever.
Yeah.
He's going to be around. He's not just going to do an album and just, do. He's over. He's a dude who's going to be able to reinvent himself and make album after album after album and change things. And, that's those types of people I feel are extraordinarily rare and are becoming more and more rare as we lose
It's
people.
super crazy, bro. When we put out when I put out the Fat Cat 12-inch, the dedication of the Suckers 12-inch in '98, my phone number was on the back. My cell phone number was on the back of the cover, like in case somebody wanted to order some shit or something.
That's how you do
And
it.
I got this fucking random voicemail. I'm so hurt that I don't have a copy of this because it's literally one of the greatest moments of my entire existence. Get home drunk from the club, playing records, checking the voicemail, and fucking Pete Rock is in my voicemail trying to tell me who he is. He's like,
All he had to say was,
I'm Pete Rock. I'm a DJ and a producer. I got, and he was in Japan and he got a white label. Some record store we fucking laced up and they gave him the white label. And fucking Pete Rock's on my voicemail trying to explain to me who the fuck Pete Rock is. And Pete Rock is fucking Jesus Christ. Like, I'm a member of the church. You know what I'm saying? Like, and he's on my phone, bro. Like, yeah, this is Pete Rock. I'm a producer and a DJ. I got a radio show. Like, what? Are you fucking kidding me?
It's like you got a phone call. Hey, this is my name's Moses.
Yo, that's the phone number. Fucking shout to Magic. Shout to David Zilberman. He's got the record in his hand right now. He's like, that was my old fucking phone number right there, man.
That's dope. Thanks for putting that in there, David. That's crazy. Thanks everybody again for listening, and I hope you're sharing this with people. I hope everybody's enjoying this, and don't, anything you've got to contribute, please contribute it. And that includes when everybody said, yeah, J. Rue loves white women.
He was chasing the wet towels, bro. It was crazy.
Dude, I never called him out on that, because I don't, that's not me. But dude.
Come on, homie. Like, make a song about that, J. Rue.
Yeah, that will not happen. That was
one of the really, like, that
brand.
Stands out in my mind as one of those eye-opening moments where it's like, damn, this shit really ain't what they act like it is. You know what I mean? Like, J. Rue wanted some white bitches.
He was a prophet.
Amateur, bro. Like, what?
He was a prophet.
In '96. It's not like he got old and gave up and got just exhausted. He was like, no, I want white bitches right now.
But let's just be real. A lot of these cats that were like super black power, super radical, you're like, and the girl that he showed up at the party with is
not
white.
Black.
Dude.
At the absolute least, not black.
At the absolute least, there's a lot of diversity in his roster. A lot of diversity. Lots. Man, do you remember the Pepper Johnson parties?
Nah.
Yeah, that might have been a little before your time. They used to bring all the hip-hop all-stars to Detroit to It no longer exists. The French Quarter
Ah,
or the Grand Quarter.
Grand
Which was
Quarter.
it?
Yeah. Oh
Yeah.
wow, it's finally gone
I don't know. I haven't been. Come on, man.
on
We
Grand River.
haven't. Neither
Oh,
of
that
us
was the
have
last.
been on Grand River in years.
That shit been gone. It's been closed for like 4. I never seen that shit open. You know what I mean?
That is
That shit
where
closed up just before I started coming in the city, probably.
the African dudes that talk the devil talk put
Oh, they
the
tore it
staff.
down. Rick said they tore it down.
It's gone. They tore it down. Damn, Riff. Yeah, they put the staff through my. You know how they used to have those staffs? They shoved the
Yeah.
staff through my window because they thought I was somebody else, and then they got into it with the person who they thought it was, and so they're shooting at each other across the street, across from WJZZ. I hop in my
What?
car, spin backwards, drive around the back, scoop up the dopadelic dudes, swing a right, and stop the car in the back where a fight is going down because Boss's DJ left her 1200 sitting in the alleyway.
Oh my god.
I picked up the 1200s, took Dopadelic home with the window blown out, and then gave them the 1200s back, and they said, "We thought you stole these."
Wow.
I was like, "Oh my god!" The Grand Quarters used to be crazy.
Shout out to QD. Just popped in the chat. What up, though, brother?
Oh, what up, QD? Yo, man, QD's
Yo,
in the house?
QD, when is the fucking release date, bro? For the fucking for the EP. QD finally pressed up the not finally, but QD pressed up the entire Quite Delicious EP produced by JD. That was a tape. It's one of them tapes back in the day. It was
Wow.
super serious. I'm waiting on that release date, bro, so we can tell people, bro.
Yeah, that'd be great, man. Let us know something. And actually, if you have a link to your social media, put your social media in the chat and we can follow. And then when it comes out, we can all support you. Hey, you remember Spot? Other people who never really blew up that had dope beats.
You said Spot?
Yeah.
Steve putting out tracks.
Remember Steve had, you don't remember Steve had beats?
Yo, the reason I started making beats, the first motherfucker I ever saw make beats was Spot. Spot and Beej. Beej and Spot made all the beats for 31. 31 was the first crew that I was in.
Yeah.
31 was the Southfield crew. So they were kind of like frowned down upon, I guess, maybe by some, because they were Southfield fuckers.
Spot and Beej had crazy beats.
Yo. Spot made Find a Way. You know that?
No. I believe
Spot
it though.
made Find a Way, bro. So
because
Tribe Called Quest, Find a Way, produced by JD. So
this is what I remember. And people tell me I'm lying all the time. But there's a lot of things I could say right now that, as you know, would embarrass a lot of people. But I rarely say this. And because you brought it up, I'll bring it up. I heard a lot of tracks over Spot's house and a lot of, like, messing with Beej, heard a lot of their beats. Honestly, a lot of people are like, they took JD's sound, but honestly, there's a lot of things I heard from them way, way, way early.
Watch this, bro. Watch this. So, literally, singularly, Beej and Spot are the reasons that I ever started making beats. Like, the first beats that I ever made, I borrowed the 4-track and the fucking Rock and Play sampler, took that shit to Mom's crib for a couple days. First beats I ever made. You feel me? Spot had a beat that he made with this Toate record. Toate was the DJ from Delight. He had a solo record on Elektra. And there was a CD single for his single that had a really ill version of the song called The Folk Nova. And it was no drums. It was like all the elements of the song, no percussion, no drums. And Spot looped up the paid in full drums. And then he looped up the toatation on top of it. And I feel like he probably played it down at the hip hop shop one day. And JD came over the crib the next week and gave him $500 for the sample. Spot gave him the CD, Find a Way. Tribe Called Quest. You know what I mean? Like Beej had, once again, we're talking about individuals. Like Beej had this fucking like disco shit that he was on. It was like hip hop.
Yeah, I remember.
And listen, yo, like Rick Posada, Busta, JD, Rick Posada was Busta's manager at the time. They wanted to sign Beej to Elektra Records so bad. So bad, but Beej was in a group with the homie Ease. They had a group called Born Unknown.
Yep.
and Beej refused to sign, which was really fucked up. It was, hindsight's 2020, but we were telling him to sign, like, listen, bro, like, Ease can still be on the record, but they want to sign you, bro. Like, you can still have the homie on the record. Y'all can still get money and get paid and see what happens. But yeah, he was like, fuck that. It's born unknown or it's nothing. And,
Fatal
that's
mistakes.
It's admirable to a fault. You know what I mean? Sticking to your principles. Like, this is my homie, but
unfortunate mistakes.
Bro, I got a 94 Beach tape, bro. Bro, I got all the joints. Riff sent them to me, actually. Riff sent me the shit. Yo, I'll send you the shit as soon as we get off of here, bro. It's like 25 Beach joints. It's
that's going to become a 15 minutes of fire.
All that shit. You know what I mean?
And if anybody has nothing else to do, tune into 15 Minutes of Fire. I play like 10 to 15 records in 15 minutes, and then I go to work. I try and make it as accurate and decent and make it a good, diverse selection as I can. Usually it's 8:45 in the morning, and then sometimes I repeat at 4:45 at night. But I've had, I've played a lot of instrumentals from your label, Houseshoes. I played a lot of Dez instrumentals. Dez should have a label. Dez should he has the largest volume of beats.
Dez is a monster, man. But I'll tell you this, I can't help but keep it a buck. Dez sobered up for like a year when he was on probation. He got hit driving somewhere, and he got put on papers for a year, and he really made like more advancements in his career than he's ever made in that year. And then like he kind of got off of probation and just kind of went back smoking and shit. But he was putting his own records out and shit. You know what I mean? He has so much heat, bro. I'm glad to see, all this traction. He's getting placements. Other labels are buying his tracks, putting out 7 inches and 12 inches and LPs. He is like my teacher, literally.
You guys used to DJ. You never let me get on. You never let anybody else on, but you guys ran the shelter for a good 4 or 5 year run, it seems like.
Man, I got carjacked going to take him his records back, man. That's still to this day, like.
You got carjacked taking his records back.
You never heard that story, Jay?
Oh, God.
Jay, you never heard the story?
No.
Oh, Jay? Hold on a minute. Wait. Mother's Day, 1994. It's about 11 o'clock at night. Dez let me borrow this crate of records. It was a recycling bin full of records, all heat. There was like a fucking test press of like Top Billing in that bitch, bro.
I remember seeing that crate because that crate was one of the ones he used to bring to his shelter all the time. Bro. It was ridiculously. No normal person wanted to have that crate that big. You needed to have your own dolly for that crate.
So much heat, bro. The first blend tapes. I heard a couple blend tapes when I was going to Eastern. But when I came back, Dez always had these tapes he would lace me with crazy blends. And he just lent me this big ass crate. And I had that crate for like 3 or 4 months. And I was going to meet him at Ant's crib. And, pick him up, take him back to the crib, drop the crate off. It's like 11:30. It's a mobile station on 75 and 7 Mile, East 7 Mile.
Yeah, the one that's at that intersection that comes at an angle.
Yep.
Yeah.
So I'm playing a fucking JD beat tape, bro, in 94. Playing a beat tape. Some dude walks up to me. He's like, yo, what's that you playing?
Oh, shit.
I'm like, yo, that's the homie. And like, I couldn't even say his name. And he's like, get in the car, motherfucker. Like, scoot over, homie. You know what I mean? All right. He takes the shit out again. Like, he takes off. The whole shit probably was like 4 or 5 minutes, but it felt like maybe 12.
Oh, no, it's slow motion.
And I'm like, hey, man, he's got this rusty-ass 9 that probably wasn't even loaded. Waving it in my face, blah, 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 white boy, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, listen, bro, listen. You can have this motherfucker. Let me get this crate out the trunk, bro. Let me get this crate out the trunk, dog. I feel you. I'll sign the title over to you, bro. You can have this car. Let me get this crate out the trunk. Let me get this crate, bro. I'm going to count to 10, and I'm going to shoot your motherfucking ass. So I can't get the crate. I swear to God, bro, on my children. 1, 2. Damn. Walked about 1.5 miles down East 7 Mile at like midnight on a fucking Sunday night. Cooking. Got the Amp's crib, in the alley, knocked on that motherfucking door, sat on that couch, went down the steps. Dad's like, what happened? I was like, man, your motherfucking record's gone, bro. I didn't even say I got carjacked. I was like, man, your fucking records is gone, bro. Like, I was coming to bring you your records, dog. The record's gone, bro. Fuck the car. I don't give a fuck.
I bet you that motherfucker took that car and never went to trunk.
Car popped up in Toledo like 4 days later. Record's gone. Ugh. Just imagine my white ass cooking down 7 Mile at like midnight on a Sunday night. What the fuck is this motherfucker doing?
Where's this motherfucker going? If I would have seen you, it would have been like, house shoes? Pull over and be like, where you going, man?
Man, shout out to Chris, Freak of Nature, 31, right there in the chat.
Freak of Nature's in the house. Last time I saw Chris, we were on Dig This. So now Lathan has a movie coming out. Working title On the Come Up. Hadn't seen Method Man in probably 10 years.
Wow.
It's you know, you got to walk around with the mask on. So
right.
I come up to him and I said something that was Jason Staten. Like I said, like, you know, I said a lyric to him and just stared at him, or I just said his name and I looked at him, and he was like, "Have we worked together before?" And I pulled my mask down. He said, "What the fuck?" And we started laughing. And he's like, "Dude, I feel like that." So I was like, "Come on, man. You're not supposed to recognize me 10 years later wearing a mask." Out of context for everything you've known that I've done. Completely out of context.
I remember you for the rest of my motherfucking life, though.
Hopefully it's not for a bad reason.
Nah, bro. Like, Jesus. Nutter Butters. Remember that?
Oh, my God.
The Nutter Butters. That might have been the first record you gave me, bro. Nutter Butters was a double LP, loud. I don't even think that they released it like publicly. It was it was a promo release, and I think that might have been Trevor Williams' first assembly. Trevor. Now I know you don't know Trevor. Trevor has an incredible ear. Steve Rifkin will tell you this. Trevor used to work under his desk at Loud Records. Didn't want to be in the action and the too many people coming in, so he would put his fire
his desk.
Woo!
Had a cool radio show. I don't know if he even does it anymore. Again,
man,
so many.
Nutter Butters had Shook Ones Part 1 on it.
Yeah, which is
Shook Ones Part 1. A lot of y'all motherfuckers still don't know that there is a Shook Ones 1 and a Shook Ones 2. You know what I mean?
And the Shook Ones, and there's an original mix to Shook Ones. What we're used to is a remix.
Yeah.
And I'm going to tell you, that was a
phone conversation. Right? You got all those files, right?
You said what now?
You got all those files, right? Because I got all that shit.
If I don't, I know who has them.
Like, well, I got them. I'm saying, like, if you need them, like the demo
I don't think I have those on file anymore. And I think I told you the story about that idiot Jackson Sneed that broke in his mom's house and stole let somebody cherry pick some of my records. And then also I lost my 909, the 12 SP12 I bought from Eminem's original DJ Head, who we both came up with.
Shut up.
A 303, which has a street value of like $5,000. EPS, all my EPS discs.
No, I just saw fucking earlier before we did this. Did you know that Jeff Mills played at the fucking the Virgil shit?
No.
Well, you
Had
know,
no
Virgil
idea.
passed. Virgil Abloh passed. The Louis shit that they just did, the fashion show.
Right.
Jeff Mills sat on the floor and played 2 909s. There's footage of the shit. Like
There's only two people who could really do that really well, and that's Jeff Mills and Egyptian Lover. Have you ever watched Egyptian Lover?
But Jeff Mills had one of the 909s was Jeff Mills, and the other one was Virgil's. Virgil had a 909.
Wow, man.
How about that?
Virgil, I mean, Jeff and Virgil are they're the type of people that make you not want to make music because they go places that other people would never imagine going musically.
Right.
You know, it's kind of like listening to Mojo's radio show. Like Mojo played records that nobody else would imagine playing. And all of us, whether we like it or not, if we hadn't had Mojo, I don't know that we'd have Jeff in the context we have him. The Wizard.
Yeah, we are so lucky for that, man. That was just, and the time that like my ears and eyes opened up was like right then. So it was like, I'm so grateful for that shit, man.
Yeah, man. I mean, Scott Gordon
Mojo,
was
the Wizard, and fucking Billy T late Saturdays on the DMZ on GPR. It
right.
was those
and don't forget, we can't forget
Explosion.
Yeah. We also can't forget Reggie Hot Mix.
Yo, Reggie worked at fucking Angot, bro. Reggie used to hold me like Huck held me the promos at Record Time. Reggie held me the promos at Angot. You know what I mean? And I was always like, man, why are you motherfuckers giving me all this heat? What did I do to deserve this shit, man?
They were breaking records, dude.
Yo, it was crazy.
I mean, they influenced everybody. I mean, literally, their records. I played. I don't know if you remember this. There was a CD and record. It's hard to find on CD. There's a record on Techno Hop Records, and one of them's by Beatronic, and it used to be that. It took me years to get that. I remember I had to buy it on a compilation on Techno Hop Records.
You should have hollered at Riff. Riff probably had that shit at Detroit Audio, bro. You remember Detroit Audio on 6 Mile?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Dude, those record stores are incredible. Detroit Audio, Car City.
Man, Detroit Audio was the shit. That was like when I first started coming to the city, when I got my driver's license and shit.
Your parents couldn't stop you because they didn't have a tracking device on your car.
I'm going to get these records, man.
Yo, do you remember MF 911? Todd just brought them up.
Yeah, I remember them. I wasn't really never impressed though. Yeah. Sorry.
They were good MCs. They just, their
it was
stuff,
cool. It just I couldn't fuck with the identity. You know what I mean? It just wasn't my shit.
Street. They were kind of like a more street Ultramagnetic.
Well, and they had absolutely nothing to do with Detroit. Like that was not involved in the promotion at all. Like it wasn't like they're Detroit motherfuckers. You didn't hear that in them. You didn't feel it in there either. And plus, I heard the dude was kind of greasy back in the day. Anthony Singleton, I used to hear like he had a studio, like, make sure you turn the MP off before after you dump your beat type shit. I used to hear crazy things.
Are you talking about Ant?
Yeah.
It's like a dude that you come up with. He never did anything wrong to me. And
but I heard about some other shit.
Yeah. Him and Ced are, especially Ced. I talked to Ced. Ced is a dude that if he's on the road, he just
Sick Notes?
Huh?
Ced from Sick Notes?
I'm not sure because but Ced and his brother Manny are dope. And Ced drives trucks.
They were in the group. They were in MF 911.
Yeah, they were in F911. They had another group later. They did, and it just never took off. But they all went to high school, I believe, with Dilla.
Wow.
They're all, inner city dudes. Talented dudes. You know what I'm saying? Like I can never be mad at them. There were some mistakes that Ant made, but he's, whereas as 20, 22, 23-year-old dudes, I don't think anybody in hip hop can say I didn't say the wrong thing. at this time. I didn't do the wrong thing at this time. I remember I said something to the dude at Sony, had heard about Wu-Tang and something about Public Enemy, and he's like, I've heard you had a good ear, and maybe you could come to New York and work. And I was like, how much will I be making? He's like, $30,000, and I laughed because how am I going to survive in New York on 30? Even in 1993?
That's not a mistake, bro. You did the right thing.
I was like, are you serious?
Hey, the fuck out of here.
Come on, man. I've already picked, multiple good singles for people, and I have studio experience and accreditation, and, come on, man. That's the guys that you're paying $100,000 dropped out of high school.
Well, there's literally, in the music industry, there's literally nobody that's as important as a motherfucker that gets the records played where it matters. Record promoters are the most important wheel in the machine. Rest in peace to my motherfucking brother Buys One, man. You know what I mean? Like, motherfuckers that make shit happen. They get artists on the radio. Buys got fucking M on the radio, and Dre heard it, and the rest is history. Without record promoters, there's no careers. There's no success for anybody because of all the whole ass politics that I refuse to be involved in. That's why you don't hear none of my shit on the radio. You know what I mean? Like,
it's about journalists, the journalists, the promoters. Yeah,
the most important, bro. I mean, you're the most important motherfucker, man. You got them records played, man. You got them records played.
Because, man, let me tell you something. I still remember a dude wanted to shoot me because I gave him a Wu-Tang tape. He was like, "Is this a joke?" Like, in Detroit, we had articulate drug dealers and murderers. Like, it's like, dude, I handed a dude, and he looked at me like, "Is this supposed to be a joke?" And I was like, "No, dude." I was like, "It's hip hop." He's like, "I know you sell tapes and shit, but what is this shit?" Because I walked up to his car. 7 Mile was like Freaknik, like between Livernois and like.
Man, that shit was so fire, bro.
It was just cars lined up.
Cruising.
What do you remember about the hip hop shop in Maurice Malone?
Oh, shit was fantastic, bro. That was my Saturdays. My Saturdays in the mid-90s were fucking damn near unfuckwittable. I would wake up. I was working at Street Corner. I would go to Street Corner. I would pick up a check to go to Angot to do fills for the weekend. And what a fill is okay, so records used to come on Tuesdays. The hot shit would be sold out by the weekend. So you hit the mom and pop's local distributor so you don't have to pay shipping and all this bullshit next day. You hit the local spot, prices are higher, but, whatever the fuck. You get the shit in the store for the weekend, then you got your shipments to come Monday, and you're all good. Right. So I would go pick up the fill order on Saturday, and my payment would be either 2 12-inches or a tape or a CD. And it's a distributor. So they got the shit at least 2 weeks early. At least 2 weeks early is there. You feel me? Like maybe a month early. All that shit from fucking 94 to 96. That's my most pivotal 2 years in music, 94 to 96. That's when all the best rap shit that was ever made came out, in my opinion.
Black Moon, Wu-Tang.
I had all that shit.
Alcoholics.
Yo, I had all that shit. I got stories for all them tapes, man. Like all them tapes. So I would get the shipment. I'd pick out a couple records. Reggie would have some promos for me. You know what I mean? Maybe I get the purple tape a couple weeks early that day. Fuck it. You know what I mean? And then I could buy whatever the fuck I wanted to too. At wholesale. You feel me? So we would pick the shipment up. I would drive on the way. I'd probably hit the weed spot, roll up. You know what I mean? Smoke one in the fucking parking lot and Angot before I went in. Head back. Maybe drink a deuce on the way back to the record store. Drop the shipment off. Fucking go to do my radio show at Henry Ford, 89.3. Henry Ford Community College in Dearborn. Me and the homie Josh Lang had a radio show called Beats and Breaks that went from like maybe 12 to 3, I believe. I would usually get there like around 1. He would handle the first hour. And then I would leave the fucking radio show and go to the hip hop shop, bro.
Think about that era, man.
Are you kidding me? Like that's the Escort era. That's the white Ford Escort.
Eminem Marshall was hanging around the hip hop shop not really talking to anybody, being
Right.
like a reclusive dude, while Proof was literally battling everybody in the cipher, taking fools out. What's his name? Rod, that they used to call New York. Beach, the whole 31 Flavors crew.
I remember Live Manifest.
That's what I'm talking about. They used to call him
Live
New York.
Manifest.
Live
Yo, son,
Manifest.
got this Wu-Tang. Got these Wu-Tang mixtapes. Yo, Lord Manifest. LODDMANAFESS. Not Lord Manifest. Lord Manifest.
A true legend. A true legend in Detroit.
Absolutely, bro. Absolutely. Motherfuckers be rapping at Fairlane and shit.
Okay, I'm gonna tell you somebody else who had beats that honestly is still one of the most musically talented people that I know from Detroit.
Who's that?
Pernell Suber, A.K.A. Finesse, A.K.A. jdilla.
Oh, absolutely, bro.
Incredible.
Good dude too, man.
Great person, amazingly talented.
Absolutely, bro.
Undeniably, probably one of the most talented people in terms of hip hop and just generally music making. The dude plays multiple instruments. He's a great percussionist. Like super dope, man.
Yeah, man.
I always he's a good friend and a great dude, man. Remember their group? What was it? The NSC, and the song was called "No, You Can't Have My Pen."
You can't use my pen.
You can't use my pen, man.
That's like a $60 12-inch now, bro.
Come on.
Straight up. That's the first beat that Jay ever had on vinyl, bro. How about that? Tidbit. That
What?
Now, the bonus track. That's the first JD beat on a record ever.
Really?
Yep.
It's things I didn't know.
Yep.
Things.
Yep. No, you can't use my pen.
About.
Then what was the B-side was Throw Your Hands in the Air. That was my shit. Rhyming at the dinner table. Woo! Shit. Riff calling out classics right now.
Oh my God, that was classic. I'll fall off this thing. Trying to turn around and spin around and find a copy of the NOC in the stacks. Dude, there was just so much, interconnection between different things. Jessica Care Moore worked at the hip hop shop.
Yep, absolutely.
Jessica Care Moore, winner of the Apollo. What, she went 7 times in a row, or 700 times in a row, or 6 times in a row? This dude went to find it. Stand by, y'all, for a classic.
I don't know where it is. It's so much shit over there, bro.
Riff, rhyming at the dinner table for the NFC. He killed it.
Man.
They were saying, do we want to invite anybody in the chat? I don't know if anybody wants to jump on and has anything to say. But, I mean, it's kind of Houseshoes this moment. I mean, honestly, every weekend I want to have a conversation like this with somebody and hopefully, immortalize and memorialize and document some of the things that happen in Detroit and elsewhere in the industry that affect everyone. I mean, it's not just, honestly, like, you can look at your politics and your various statements online. You can look at your catalog of music, and you can literally see a continuity and a string through all of that.
Yeah, man. It's funny because I used to look at it as, not necessarily me, but everyone else would always be like, man, Shoes, you don't give a fuck, bro. Man, you don't give a fuck. So I kind of embraced that. You know what I mean? Like, fuck it. I guess I don't give a fuck. But then, what you come to realize is you don't respond to shit that don't matter to you. You know what I mean? Like, I give all the fucks. I give all the fucks. You feel me? Like, understand that. It's frustrating to the point where y'all fuck with my shit talking more than the musical output. I done met motherfuckers that was like, I didn't even know you did music shit, man. I just like the shit that you talk. So I had to like fall back a little bit. You know what I mean? Because you know what I mean? I definitely feel that I have some some real shit to say, but I'm not necessarily here for that. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but it's just like, I think, it's like a record. In hip hop, you have a great beat. and the beat is saying something, or it creates an environment for
Right.
somebody else's voice and their opinions.
Right.
And, you know, and you having a voice and opinion, that's just part of the whole matrix of, you know, what you're doing and with the, you know, with the label and yourself as a DJ and as a curator. I think if you don't have an opinion, then what are you doing here? I think it's, I think you can over exaggerate that, where some people think they should have an opinion on everything.
Well,
Yeah.
no, I mean, we live in such a sensitive time that I understand why everything is so muted and neutered. You know what I mean? But you can't accomplish shit if you scared about stirring the waters. You know what I mean? Like,
No. And I
I'm
have,
gonna stir that shit up. I'm gonna
yeah.
stir that shit up in every way possible. You know what I mean? And I'm a fucking advocate for stirring that shit up and sticking out and stop trying to fit into this shit and stop trying to be relevant. Stop worrying about right fucking now and start thinking about when you ain't here no more. You know what I mean? Because you could be out this bitch tomorrow, man. Mad homies are dying right now. Like, man. I said
Yeah, I
some
think
shit
we're
on the
at that
stream the other
time.
day. I was like, man, like, it's fucked up when you know more motherfuckers, more real motherfuckers is dead than they are alive. Like, you know more motherfuckers that keep it a buck that are in the ground that are standing up. That's fucked up. That's what this time is breeding, man. Everyone's just trying to fucking it's frustrating, man. Cocksuckers. It's one of my
Yeah.
favorite words. People get offended. But like a lot of motherfuckers are cocksuckers, man. Like they'll just do anything to be able to be in the picture. You know what I mean? To be in the background of a motherfucker selfie. They just want to be there in the corner, at least. The fuck is your problem?
I gotta figure out Vero Chikinis. He said, words don't teach. And I was like, that's interesting. And then he said disruptors are ahead of these times.
Yeah.
It's, reality of where we're at right now is people do want everything to be comfortable. People want everything to be easy. Right now we have a war going on the other side of the planet, and instead of writing letters to their senators, people are posting messages saying, I stand with,
There's no such thing as social media activism. That shit don't exist, yo. You ain't active. You ain't doing shit, man.
right. If you're
If it
not,
makes you feel better, congratulations. But you ain't doing shit. I'm not doing shit. Putting some shit in my story, that ain't doing shit. Yeah, somebody might see it and spend some money, but that's not. Don't call it activism. That shit is not fucking activism, yo.
a t-shirt
You
doesn't
go
make
stand in
you,
front of a fucking tank. That's activism.
right.
Put
A
yourself in
t-shirt,
danger.
right. Unless you stick your neck out, it doesn't really matter. And then, unless you can do something, I mean, you're even more active if you wrote a letter to your senator or to your representative.
Yeah.
You're more active if you went to a company and said, I'm not, wrote them a letter and said, here's all your stuff back. I'm not buying anything from your company until you stop utilizing this resource or that resource. But if you're just, you're just like the rest of us that are silent if all you're doing is putting a flag up.
Yo, we did a show this one time. It was me, Dez, Fat Cat, and Elzai, and we were in Christiania. I forget where Christiania is. Maybe it's in Scandinavia or some shit. What Christiania is it's like an artist colony in the middle of this city. It's really kind of strange, right? So the promoter for the show, the promoter of the show is on the front page of the newspaper, pushing a burning police car into a river. That's activism. We are so this motherfucker he has everybody come. Like, he has this studio that's kind of like a silo. It's kind of wild. And it's in Denmark. Okay. What up, Chuck? And fucking they, Fat Cat and Elzai were going to record freestyles. Everybody that does shows for him, they come there to do a freestyle. He's had Ice-T, he's had fucking Chuck D, like motherfuckers for like 30 years have come there and done this, right? So we're in there, and the police have surrounded the entire fucking colony, bro, in a circle. And they're slowly just walking forward. going through everything. You know what I mean?
Right.
And we have to stand there in silence for like 20 minutes. Like a motherfucking cop came up to like the door and was like trying to look through the eye hole and shit and stood there. It's like a scene from a movie. It's like, is he gonna fucking knock? He didn't knock, he walked away. So the homie was like, all right, y'all gotta get out and just act like you're tourists, you know, have cameras out, have your phones, act like you're, you know what I mean? And we got out and he's like, I'll see you at the show tonight. And we go up there. We go in the green room and he's in the fucking green room, right? And he's got this fucking hash pipe that has, like, you can put a bowl of cereal in this motherfucker.
Huge.
And he literally takes the longest hit I have ever seen any drug be inhaled for. He hit that bit for about like 22 seconds and held it in his lungs for damn near a minute and then blew a cloud that you couldn't even see anything in the room, bro. Like, he filled the room with smoke after pushing a burning police car into the fucking river on the front of the fucking newspaper. Amazing. That's an amazing. Those are the kind of people that I'm fucking with. You know what I mean? Like,
right. That you're and you're not doing it as part of a branding thing. You're doing it because you want to change something, or
right.
you have to change something.
Yeah.
Because in those countries, playing hip hop and throwing parties and that, you know, that's against the grain. That's
It's
disturbing. You know,
it's revolutionary.
That's revolutionary. That's, you know, here when we play hip hop, it's no longer revolutionary. You know,
when we was doing it in Detroit, it was revolutionary when we was doing it in Detroit, though.
Oh no, absolutely. When you know, I can say this, that
we was weirdos.
Going and playing hip hop records at Soul Night. Thank you, Charles Hicks, for letting me get away with it a couple times. They didn't want that to happen more than 15 or 20 minutes. But
right.
that was unheard of. They weren't playing hip hop records, not even hip hop bebop. Like, they were playing house records. They were playing a few techno records, but they weren't. You know, it's a house city. You know, playing anything out of the ordinary, you know, is against the grain. You know, I was pretty outspoken as they started making trap music. You know what I'm saying? And my statement was like, I don't ever think I don't think I get it. Do you know what I mean? And it doesn't mean that I was never around, and this is always the assumption. It doesn't mean I was never around the street. It means that in context, a lot of it doesn't make sense to me. And now that I've evolved, it really is starting to not make sense to me. And it doesn't sound fun to me, and it's not what I want to hear. But as long as everybody else wants to hear it.
Well, we're old as fuck. Hip hop is kids' music, bro. Just to keep it a buck. So who are we to say that what they're doing is trash when hip hop is for young motherfuckers? So maybe what they're doing is the real shit, and we're just, by the grace of God, holding on to the foundation of it.
Well, here's a question for you. Is hip hop for young motherfuckers?
I mean, it's fucking not even 50 years old, bro. It's young itself.
It's young itself, but again, that doesn't make it just for young people, meaning rock and roll was made by mostly young people, but it's not just for young people.
It's not, but we can't say what it is. We can't. I feel it's in better hands with, I trust it. At the end of the day, I trust it. Hip hop took over the fucking world, and then the world took over hip hop. And we can't change whatever the fuck it's going to be. So you just got to trust. There's more dope shit than there has ever been in the history of fucking hip hop music, but it's 2 or 3 clicks beyond what they're serving everybody.
Without question, it's out there. I'm going
to
tell you what.
When you say it's out there, it's like right next to what you think is available. Like it's 2 or 3 clicks, 2 or 3 more clicks. You know
if not less. If not less. Here's a thing. When it was 1991, I was sitting on the west side. I was on the second floor of where Shake and his brother, they had a crib. and we were sitting outside, and I was, upset about something with the girl or getting in a situation with a girl that I didn't need to be in as usual. And I was talking to him about it. He's like, man, you don't really want to fuck with that person, blah, 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 and here's why. And we were going through all that, and we were listening to each other's music and talking about music, and he said, one day hip-hop's going to be like jazz. And what he meant by that, because we talked about it extensively, is in terms of the context of hip-hop being the musicality and the discussions,
there's so many
and
subgenres within jazz.
It's like real straight ahead jazz and jazz fusion, and what we're hearing right now is the equivalent of Kenny G in terms of hip hop, and a lot of us don't like it.
I don't want to say that, and
because you hate Kenny G.
I don't like I don't want to say that because, like I said once again, just because I don't like it, like Kenny G is literally a glass. Like this is Kenny G. It's a glass of water. There's no creative behind that. There's a lot of creativity in what they're doing, and there's a lot of style. It's just not for us. The shit that gets me is the motherfucker that sounds like you just bashed his head into a curb like 6 times and then put him in the booth. Like, I don't like that super offbeat rapping shit. I don't like that shit at all.
I don't. And what I'm saying is,
who am I to say that these motherfuckers can't like some shit? Fuck it.
Facts. I'm not saying anybody can't like it. I think that we've reached a point where
it's terrible to me.
Right.
But that's
where
the key.
It doesn't work for me.
In these conversations, the freedom comes where we realize that we're not arguing about anything sustainable. We're arguing with other people about their fucking opinions on shit. You feel me? Like, we're not arguing about structurally the music contain, like you're talking like somebody feels some kind of way about it. That's what you're arguing with.
Right.
So
you're not arguing.
We're not even talking about shit. One of the most freeing moments is when I was like 5 years ago. I was like, I will never argue with a motherfucker about music ever again in my life. Because you're not arguing about the music. You're arguing about how they feel. You know what I mean? And how you feel. It's fucking pointless. It's not even like academic at all. You know what I mean? For the most part. Sometimes, you might be able to have an academic conversation, but usually not so much.
Yes. No, absolutely. I think we have academic conversations or in-depth conversations about structure and what we don't like on an almost idiocentric in a minute level. Like, we go through the minutia of what stuff is, but we're DJs from a different era, and we collect music and we're curators. But by and large, in terms of what people want,
just like the whole like people getting mad about what music is popular and all that kind of shit. Like, who cares, bro? Like, it's gonna be that. Like, when are you gonna let that go?
Right.
You're just
either
mad.
Find what you like for yourself.
Human beings are fucking simple creatures, man. Like 90% of the fucking human race just wants to listen to the same thing. Like,
right.
I went to a homie's birthday party little thing. It was one of the first times I went out to a bar. I told him I played some records, and we went there, and it was like, fuck. I should have said no and done my fucking research, because there's 2 kind of bars and there's 2 kind of people when it comes to nightlife. You either want to go out and get drunk, or you want to go out and hear some music or
experience something.
You know what I mean? Like, venues are either music primary or customers primary. Like, conversation music, turn that shit down. You know what I mean?
Right.
And that shit is...
Yeah, you're either doing something or you're just there getting drunk so that you can go home and pass out, or...
Yeah, and that was always the dumbest shit to me. Like, why would you go out to a venue that plays the music you listen to on the radio all day for free, buy 2 drinks, that shit costs what a bottle and a half costs? Like, what are you doing? I'm coming out to hear some dope shit, something. Like, what the fuck? But it's
either coming out to do some business.
But that's how regular people work. And that's like, I'd say probably at least 80% of the population. They just don't care.
Most music is escapism for the general populace. It's something to distract you so that when you get wasted, you want something that you can repeat while you're wasted.
Right.
You want something simple enough for you to grab onto. That's why, when people are mad at EDM, I'm like, no, EDM is a literal formula you can follow to party and dance. It gives you, this is where the breakdown is. This is where you're supposed to turn up.
Yo, did you ever read? It was an article maybe about 4 or 5 years ago about some. I gotta find that shit because it was terrifying. It was like producer songwriter group from like Sweden that has either written and produced or just written like 80% of the top 10 hits of like the 5 years prior to it. And it was on some shit where it was like a fucking formula. Like they figured out like a scientific formula on how to make shit that people like.
They sell that now. You know that, right?
Fucking terrifying, bro.
There's a dude, and I bought one of his things so I could go through it because you can learn about your machines breaking apart the way that he does things. But he basically says, here's a folder. This folder has all these chords.
Right.
Here's a folder. It's got beat patterns. Here's a folder. It's got drum sounds. He gives you everything. And if you basically use his formulas, you're going to make an EDM record. And honestly, if you know how to tweak it the right way, you're going to make a decent EDM record. But you're following a pattern. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, and that, in its essence, it's like the Alfaro, or not Alfaro, what is his name? Alfonso Rivera breakdance video. Do you know what I mean? Like, breakdancing, once you get in there and you have some dude who's a TV star saying, all right, this is how you spin on your back. This is how you do the wave. This is how you pop lock. It turns it into something consumable, and it gives it a pattern. Go out, get a pair of parachute pants, get a pair of Adidas, stick these shoelaces in them, and learn these dances, and boom, you're in. That's to me, no disrespect to a lot of EDM. That's what it does. That's what it becomes to me. Right. Oh, here comes a break. Here's a drop. And you're just like, another one's gonna come after this, and another one's gonna come after this. Yeah. It's amazing what you're doing by going out and finding different things, as you say, organically, by basically being a consumer and saying, that's dope. It doesn't have a big enough audience. I like that. I hope other people like it. I'm going to put it out and see what happens. And succeeding at it, because there's been a lot of stuff that I've tried to get out, and people haven't followed with it. Do you know what I'm saying? And the fact that you have been able to find an audience, both in your Twitch world and in your record release world and in your social media world.
I just, I keep it a buck, man. Someone's got to keep it a buck. I really feel that, like, it's frustrating. I'm really glad that I broke my little Twitter shit. I was addicted to Twitter. I would just talk my shit and set the table. Like, bitch, let's go. I had to break my shit, though. I had to break that just because, I ain't got time for all that keeping it a buck. And not to say that I'm not going to keep it a buck, but I ain't got time for that shit. I don't have time for the after effects of me keeping it a buck sometimes. So we just turn that shit off. You know what I mean?
As you being a person of an opinion and a curator and collector of opinions, what do you think about the Joe Rogan situation?
I think he's a cocksucker, man. I think he's a cocksucker. You know what I mean? Like, I used to think he was the shit. When I was introduced to him through the whole Carlos Mencia shit, when he fronted him on the stage and like called him out. That shit was fucking incredible. If you're not familiar, Carlos Mencia was under fire for stealing jokes from other comedians.
Right.
And Joe Rogan can lit this fuck up in the middle of one of his sets at the Comedy Store. It was fucking amazing. But he's a cocksucker. Sorry. If you're getting paid more money, I understand the whole media circus, rah-rah shit, bells and whistles. You're getting paid more money than anybody has ever been paid to talk. You're getting paid to talk. You're getting paid to keep eyes on you.
Actually, Joe is getting paid to listen, because if you listen to it, watch his show, 9 times out of 10, he lets somebody sit there and he doesn't even question what they're saying. Like they could go.
I understand freedom of speech and all that bullshit. I'm an advocate for it. But once you start giving fucking opportunities to fucking violently horrible people and shitty motherfuckers to give them access to anything,
don't question them. You never challenge them. Did you see the documentary about what's my man's name? He was a newscaster on he was one of the original 60 Minutes dudes. You'd enjoy it. I gotta yell at Heidi. She can remember, but I watched it, and then I watched it with Heidi, and it was pretty incredible, because at least, like, if he was interviewing Saddam Hussein, he was asking him questions. He was at least not necessarily opposing, but challenging the train of thought. In other words, dude couldn't just get on there and run through his rhetoric and lie about and or not talk about the reality of who he was and what he was doing. I think my only problem with Joe is that there were times when I would listen, and I got to be honest, I didn't listen to an entire 3-hour, 4-hour Joe Rogan, because that's a long time out of your life that you're never going to get back. And he had some people with some opinions, and he never challenged their opinions.
Yeah, it's like, what do you have to offer, motherfucker? Like, you just making your shit available to everybody so you can grow your crowd, you can get more bread, rah, metrics, numbers, all that fuck shit. What do you have to offer as a fucking human being, man? Like, the world is a terrible place. So if you're making it worse, you're a fucking piece of shit, man, and you ain't doing shit to make it better.
Well, if you're Joe Rogan, you offer. What is the show that he did? The one that Dave Chappelle.
Why did somebody give him all that money, yo? Like, what? I don't give me that money, man.
Yeah,
like, what my motherfucking podcast would be like? I would have the illest podcast ever.
I mean, honestly, once you find that audience, people give you money. I get the
same motherfuckers on the show that he had, and I'd be like, "Hey, man, you're a cocksucker."
For the record, I've heard what you had to say, sir.
You know what I mean?
You're a cocksucker.
Come on, man.
Mike Wallace. Heidi put it in the chat for me. Thanks, babe. Mike Wallace, dude. Mike Wallace's documentary. First of all, it's amazing because he kind of almost has a hip hop story. Like, he literally was like a dude doing commercials and doing B movies and TV shows.
Right.
And then he got a talk show, and he started just doing all this different, media work. And then with 6, he started doing hard nose. What he wanted to do is like investigative reporting, and he got on 60 Minutes, and that gave him the platform to do it. But if you think about the sheer breadth of work that he did, like, that dude interviewed everybody from Menachem Begin to Putin to, and he always to some degree challenged their thinking. I think what happens now is nobody does that.
He was a kind of a baseline for journalistic integrity.
He became that. I think at first they thought he was a sensationalist. Do you know what I mean? Because he would.
Well, whether it was real or not, whether he was or wasn't, I'm not saying that.
He became the barometer. Yeah,
he was looked to like that. You know what I mean?
Yeah, because that's what I'm saying is interesting. He literally made himself that, and it's it's not as if it's not a right or wrong thing or where you're at on the issue, but it's your ability to draw people in to have a conversation that's intelligent and actually be able to say, "Hold up, man, what do you mean by that? And why would you do that? And you know what? In your country, you just did this. What was that about?"
Right.
You know what I mean?
Big story when he got corrected on his show. That was like media. That was news. When Joe Rogan, that shit was like a month and a half ago, and like you go on CNN and that shit they still got the clip at the bottom. Like, Rogan gets corrected on his podcast. Has he ever corrected anybody on his own shit?
I've never seen him really.
Always like, oh wow, like really? He says shit, and someone's like, no, and he's like, are you sure?
I mean, I don't hate him. I just think that when you have that kind of a platform, if you don't challenge both the thinking and the history and the reality of who the people you have on there are,
Right.
and you're not faster than your audience, then you can't just sit there and listen to it. It's like watching.
It's perfect for fucking Americans right now.
Yeah,
Perfect
I mean,
for 'em.
people want to be told what to think. I'm still shocked. I was listening to NPR the other day that this lady said that I'll never vote for the Democratic Party again because of their mask mandates. So you're saying you're mad that they asked you to wear a mask?
You know what? She's a cocksucker. My homie gonna be buried in a couple days off of that shit. You know what I mean? Another one of my homies is gonna get buried
way ahead of his time. He's our age,
and I love him to death, but he was a cocksucker. He was anti. He's dead because of his own shit.
It's not real. I'll be fine.
Leaving a fucking orphan to a shitty woman. It's terrible. Motherfuckers don't understand. That's why I haven't done no parties. Like, I'm not doing no inside shit, man. Somebody's gonna die 6 weeks from now off of that shit. It ain't gonna be nobody there, but y'all gonna dap up and hug up in peace and all right, I'll holler, and then you're gonna get on the bus or some shit, and that's just gonna be like, you remember that Denzel Washington movie, Fallen? It's one of my favorite movies.
Oh my God, dude. That movie, honestly,
scene where like it was in the person and they got passed by contact. That's fucking COVID, yo. You know what I mean? That where it's like the person is like chasing them, and it's just people just tapping each other, and then they go out. You know what I mean?
Dude, that movie was genius. And the fact that he could only, what was it? It was an actual length. He could only leap a certain length. So you know what I mean? So that's why.
It's not that bad unless you have pneumonia. Motherfucker. Do you know how many of my people are dead from that shit? Like, real talk, bro.
It's not that bad unless you have pneumonia. Those are two different things.
Huck died from that shit. Huck was one of the most healthiest people I've ever known in my life. Okay, you've had it twice. You're lucky. Be grateful for that. But don't say it's not that bad, bro.
Like, your physiology, everybody's physiology is different, and you have to look at it on a case-per-case basis. I realize I don't in any way mean to disrespect you.
People, I've never got it. Like, my girl got that shit twice in January, right? Her kids had it in the crib. 4 people. I ain't get it. Does that mean that it ain't shit when all these motherfuckers is dead? No, that's not what that shit means. It is that bad. It is a big deal. Hopefully we get into the other side of this shit, but understand that, yo. I got OGs that's dead off of this shit. I got kids that I taught and built, like my replacement, fucking gone from this shit. You know what I mean? Got diagnosed. 3 days later, he's dead.
You never know what's gonna take you out. We're very fragile.
Yo, how many motherfuckers ain't got parents from this shit? I got a homie who lost their mama, their auntie, and their grandmother in a week.
COVID.
Hold on to that. Like, imagine that. Like, I understand you got through it, homie, and I'm not trying to disrespect you. Respect to you, homie, but just don't say it's not bad, because it's bad. Feel me?
We spend, in my job, and you know what my job is, we spend hundreds of thousands of dollars just trying to keep people healthy. Although I know a lot of it has to do with liability, the reality is that this isn't something that just doesn't exist, and it's not about mind control. As I said to somebody a couple weeks ago, if the government wanted to control you and it was about getting something into your system, the water supply is wide open. The food supply is wide open for them to manipulate in any way. The air supply is wide open. By the way, if they needed to track you, they don't need to use a microchip. Everybody freaks out when they lose their phone.
All that conspiracy shit is all good until you in the hospital, like counting the minutes you got left, being like, fuck, I was wrong.
Right. I'm not a doctor. None of us, I don't know if anybody here on this entire chain listening is a doctor. And if you're not a doctor, it's very hard to give other people physical or health advice.
Yeah, when's the last time a motherfucker went for like a physical, and then at the end they were like, hey man, you sure about that? That's literally never happened. You never went to the fucking doctor and was like, hey man, I don't know, bro. I don't know, man.
Yeah, that sounds like some bullshit. I'm not doing that.
For like 17 years for this shit, but I just don't know, man. If you're right, you know what I mean.
I'm not challenging that. Just like people say, you don't need the mask, and I'm like, would you allow me to come into your surgery while you're in a room without a mask on, and just stand around and like chop it up with the doctor? And have hey man, what are you doing over there?
I swear to God, motherfuckers had to have that fucking card to go to school. I swear to God, motherfuckers had vaccines when they was in kindergarten, and whenever the fuck you had to get them, we all got them. If you didn't, salute you and your parents. I hope you don't die from that shit. But come on, man. Like,
we're 50 years old, and I can tell you that right now, I don't remember an instance where I didn't have to have vaccinations to go back to school.
Come on, man. I had a couple people pop up in my shit like, I never had them, and I still went to school. I was like, okay, asterisk. We'll just call you asterisk. There's exceptions to everything. You could just literally, why don't you just change your name to exception?
Yeah. There's people who drive 90 miles an hour down the highway every day and don't get in wrecks. The vast majority of people, though, end up like I was coming back from the south side, and I remember a cat flipped his car over.
Yeah.
And he walked away from it, and his boy walked away from it, but he was doing at least 110 miles per hour. And when he lost it, when his tire, he did like a lot of people. He had bald tires. I don't want to be that guy with bald tires. You know what I'm saying? Like I'd rather, to some degree, do what's safe and follow the rules.
Well, I mean, I just feel like there's two kinds of people in the world, and that's really the separation in all this. It's literally people that give a fuck about other people, and it's people that don't give a fuck about other people. Like, it's that easy. You either do or you don't. Like, I never wanted to get really fucking drunk. I never wanted to drink, like, drive drunk. Not because I was worried about getting a fucking DUI. That shit would be fucked up. But yeah, how about if you fucking like run into
somebody?
You know what I mean? Like kill kids or some shit. That's what matters. That's where, you know what I mean? If you were scared to get the DUI, that's still like you caring about yourself. You're making the right decision, but it's based on yourself and not based on others.
And that leads us back to our conversation, which is you care about your actual listeners, the supporters, as you said. And maintaining them and developing that. Here's a question for you. As we progress and you move into the future, what are some things that you want to do better or you're going to do better?
I think I'm doing a pretty good job, bro. This shit is...
You're doing an incredible job. The question is...
You'd really be impressed or dismayed at finding out how incredibly casual it is for me. Like, all this shit is casual. DJing is casual. I'm just playing shit I like. I turn the computer on, we plug in, I start going through shit. Putting the records out, it's shit that I like. You know what I mean? What can I do better? Fucking be a father. Be a better father. That's the shit. I'm not worried about this music shit. I do that shit. You could fucking blindfold me and tie my hands. I got that. You know what I mean? I done had motherfuckers, some of the illest motherfuckers in this shit tell me that I got the best ears, period. That was humbling to be told that. I already felt that way, though. You know what I mean? Like, I swear to God, bro. Like, I do this shit. My ear for beats is fucking unequal. I don't give a fuck. No politics at all involved in anything. It doesn't come in. My ears are pure. Like, I hear music. I don't hear relationships. I don't hear favors. It's crazy.
No, and it's true. I remember I was going to do an all beats radio station. I did it for about 3 months, and I realized it was going to drain my pockets to the point where I would basically be like, strictly beats or gas. having at least succeeded in both paying your bills and being able to repeat what you've done with record for record, meaning you put a record out and then you were able to take the resources from that record, pay the artist, and then still have enough left over to do it again, is remarkable. It's tough to do that out here. It's, they say it's a miracle every time a record is made. It's a miracle every time a book is written. It's a miracle every time a movie is made, because there's so many things that have to happen right. And being a part of that over and over and over again is pretty remarkable. It's pretty incredible, dude. So,
well, it's really fucking simple. I have heavy hands. I don't take projects. It's, The only shit that's a pain in the ass is when there's like vocalists. Like the Jametta Rose shit. That shit's taken a damn near a decade to finish. If I get beats from a motherfucker, all I have to do is master them and come up with artwork and a sequence and release it. It's that easy. I'll tell a motherfucker, send me 100 beats. The first question I always ask is, send me all your shit. And the motherfucker's usually like either okay or what? And I'm like, send me all your shit. If there's hesitation, I'm like, man, send me like 100 beats. 100. I'm asking for a reason. You know what I mean? Like, we rocking. This all comes after like me saying I want to do a record, of course. This isn't just me asking for 100. Like, yo, let's do some shit. Send me that shit. You're not going to be that as much of a part of it. You know what I mean? It's my version of you. Like, I'm selfish as fuck once again. Take 100 beats. Now we got 20 beats in the folder. Then we sequence the album. That's usually the most enjoyable part. Then you fucking get a light bulb for some artwork in that process, and you got a fucking record, man. It's fucking fun. I love it. It's casual, it's simple. I'm good at it.
How much media do you consume?
Huh?
How much media do you consume?
How much media do I consume?
Yeah, television, the internet, etc.
I look at my phone too much, but that's just like Instagram. That's fucking terrible. I'm trying to break that shit next.
As long as it's not Pokemon Go. Because that gets motherfuckers killed.
Nah, I don't. I watch TV when I go to bed.
Right.
I play
what
records.
What you been watching?
What did we watch last night? We watched fucking. I don't know. I hate Ozark, but I watch it.
Why do you hate it?
Because he's a bitch. He figures it out, but he's just a bitch ass motherfucker. And like, you keep waiting for that moment where he's gonna man up, and he never mans up. Ruth is the shit. Wifey's the shit. A lot of people say they don't like wifey. She's the shit. Like, she's the one. He's just a bitch ass motherfucker accountant that figures it out. It's frustrating. They just announced next month, last 7 episodes, so that's gonna be over with. I want to
give a shout out to Chris Mundy and the other showrunners of Ozark. I worked on episode 1, and it was great working with him. I mean, he's a real dude. He's a real dude.
The show is great. I just don't like him, man.
Do you like him in his other work?
Yeah, a little bit. Like, Ozark is the same motherfucker that's on Arrested Development. It's like a little darker character. It's like the same person in the family. Like, you feel me? Like, it's crazy.
He's the guy that's got to figure it out.
Man,
and he's a negotiator. It's always a negotiation.
But he's like a bitch ass motherfucker on Arrested Development too. So that kind of makes it even worse. Like,
it affects you, and his having seen him in other stuff, you probably hate. You know what I mean? It like affects you.
But it's a great show, and it's interesting. That's kind of one of the first times I've watched a show that I just get so mad. But once you've invested so much time, you gotta wait for the payoff.
Like when what's her name got killed? When her and Ruth's cousin got killed, yeah. You're probably like,
well, that wasn't a surprise though. I'm finding lately it's kind of creepy. I feel like maybe I have new senses, but like, I'm reading shit way early when I'm seeing it. I'm seeing shit way early. Like, yeah, of course that's about to happen. I'm saying shit to my girl like 5 minutes in that happens like the last 5 minutes of the episodes.
Sure.
Like, oh, this about to happen. It just seems like the foreshadowing is, I don't know if it's a lot heavier than it used to be, or if I'm just paying attention more. If I'm just a really good viewer. You know what I mean?
I think viewers are getting more sophisticated. Do you think, do you see that? And do you think listeners are getting more sophisticated?
Well, I think the people that care, and the people that don't. And you can't really worry about it. You know what I mean?
Right. I mean, of course, as a writer of a show like that, you're like, I'm going to make a good show. As a guy who makes records, you're like, I'm going to make great records. But I'm curious, Yeah, you're supposed to say spoiler alert, but here's a rule. If you're listening to me and Houseshoes and we start talking about Ozark, you better put in the chat, I ain't seen it yet because I am Mr. When I'm talking about something, I'm just talking with the homie about it. You know what I'm saying? So, you know what I'm saying? Sorry, a little bit.
I'm trying to think what else we've been watching over here, though.
Sorry, Vera La Chicana. I apologize.
I'm really thinking of fucking finally watching Breaking Bad.
Really? So you haven't watched that?
It's such an undertaking, and I want to respect it because the homies that I respect their opinions speak very highly of it. But I just don't know if I have it in me, man. Whenever I get ready to watch some other shit, I just go back and watch The Wire again.
I know you told me you don't really want to watch Euphoria because it's so.
Oh, I'm not fucking with that, man. I got kids, man. I don't want to fucking.
That makes you afraid. Like, I don't want to see. Like, you don't want to send your kids to high school with
you got the dumb motherfucker that's like, well, you should watch that because that's what's going on with children these days. And I'm like, bitch, I will knock you out right now. Don't talk to me like that. I want to, fuck. It's terrible. I have this. I just want to protect my children's innocence. I wish I had like a bubble or like a really nice sized cage.
Come on, you grew up in the 70s. You saw what happened to Bubble Boy. The Bubble Boy, as soon as the girl down the street found out about the Bubble Boy.
That girl on the staircase, right? I was like, I understand kind of. You know what I mean? Like.
Wait a minute. Are you saying you identify with that dude in Cleveland that had everybody locked in the basement? You're are you trying to say, are you telling me you want to be what is it, Dave?
I'm just saying, I understand wanting to keep your children away from the world. I'll say that. It's not to that extent where, you torture them with like hot coat hangers and shit. That's not cool, man.
Chuck Nessa said the main character of Breaking Bad is a bitch too.
Oh, wow. Fuck.
Wow. Hey, Chuck Nessa, are you talking about Mr. White or are you talking about what's his name? The other dude. Euphoria is mad crazy. I can't do it either. However, these kids are life imitating movies.
I love kids. Kids was the shit, right? You remember when kids came out? Woo, we was closer to that than we were to being adults. And it was like, yo, this is shit, right? Then you have kids and you're like, I don't ever want to fucking see that movie ever again in my life. I didn't like Paid in Full. Paid in Full was one of my favorite movies, man. When the kid gets fucked up, I don't like that shit. I don't like seeing children get harmed.
Yeah. It's
You know what I mean? Like that shit makes me sore. You know what I mean?
And it's a reflection that these ideas don't come from nowhere. Every idea and experience leaks its way into film. Even Chinatown. You've seen Chinatown, yeah?
What, the oldie?
Yeah, the movie Chinatown from the 70s. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
All that is based on, that's based on research and on real people. You know what I mean? It's of course they synthesize whatever they presented from it, but it's based on research that people did. They just changed the placement in time and the timeline and moved people around, and they created a character based on, a guy that was so rich that he was and so demented, that this is what he was trying to do. I mean, when you really think about that movie. And the psychology behind that movie, it's disturbing.
Word. Yo, Weeds, me and my lady, me and Rosie watched Weeds. She had never seen it. And I liked it, but I always felt like it fell off at the end. But now that I have kids, it's got a little extra in there for me as well. And that shit was fucking fantastic. Weeds was really good, man.
Well done show. Yeah, good call, Realize. Yeah, man. I'm looking forward to hearing more music from you and what you find out there in the world.
We should do this once a month, bro. Like, we should just do this. We should just, like, you know what I mean?
No, absolutely.
I think we got something here, bro.
Absolutely. I think this is important. I think, your opinion and your insights are extremely important. And I think that they contribute to the culture, more than, I hate to say this, more than some of the vast articles and interviews that we've seen over the years that have revealed that people, honestly, when we were younger, we thought everybody was way older than us, way better and smarter than us. And
right.
I'm just now, honestly, the conversation, and I thank you for this. As I told you, when my gear got stolen, it was after I had already gotten so mad at the music industry, at radio and hip hop, that I was just done. And I had started to slowly rebuild. and I saw you literally 2 days before basically the pandemic ended. So and,
Yeah.
and I remember me and you
Yep.
were talking. It was at Monday Night Brewing in Atlanta,
Yep.
and you
Most
were like,
impressive, one of the
I don't
most
want to hear
impressive
what
artists.
other people. I don't want to hear what other people are doing. He's like, I want to hear what you're doing. Like, you finally got to put something out. And I literally got the Ableton. I bought a TR-8S and started putting my stuff together. And then when the pandemic happened, I was like, I'm not keeping this storage unit. I'm gonna
Yeah.
take everything out that matters that I actually have possession of, and I'm going to get back into playing music. And it's been the most rewarding. Even the little bits and pieces of beats and samples I've been going through,
Right.
and the records I bought have been so valuable. I bought Black Gold. Do you know what Black Gold is? The Jimi Hendrix record? The Jimi Hendrix Wu-Tang record? You haven't heard Black Gold?
No.
Oh, dude. The dude basically I met Danger Mouse way early, and I got a copy of the Gray album, and I had like a open pressing, the vinyl, and then I had the CD, and
Yo,
all of
he's
those.
crazy. He is fucking like, he's nuts. I never really like the Gray album. Didn't do it for me just because I don't know if it's like white self-hatred with the Beatles. But yo, like when I heard the Danger Doom shit is like my second favorite Doom record behind Matt Dillon. It's fucking such a fun record. But then when he did another joint that fucked me up, you hear a record and then at the end it says, you know, you're looking through it after you listen to it, it says produced by fucking Danger Mouse. But the Michael Kiwanuka record, like when I found out that he produced that shit, I was like, are you fucking kidding me, dog? Like, what?
He had a group here, dude, that had a straight up pop hit that was dope. They like every time they did it, I was like, if they take this to the studio, mix it and record it,
right?
They don't have to do anything else except this one record. And you know those groups that like before they could ever come out, everything possible that could happen, bad happens. It was like I forgot where I was. But it's like, I was like, hey, man, what's going on? Because this dude used to produce festivals. I was like, hey, man, what's going on with dudes, group, blah, blah, blah. He was like, man. And he just started telling me bad stuff. And I was like, okay, that's enough. He's like, yeah, and then this happened. I was like, like, some people, it's like you need to get them and kidnap them and put them in a white van and take them to the studio, lock them up, record like 10 songs, and then be like, okay, get out.
We'll never hear. That's something you got to come to terms with. Like, you're never going to hear the best of anything because that's a motherfucker that just don't care. Like, the best motherfucker is not concerned with any of this. He's just at the crib. He's probably got a crazy-ass room, and he just fucking makes the most fire shit, and you'll never hear it.
Because he's doing it for himself.
Because he's self-validated.
Yeah.
Motherfuckers don't release records because they want to make money. They release records because they want to be validated. And they either want fans to validate them or money to validate them.
Absolutely.
And I don't give a fuck about that shit, bro. Like, you can't validate me, man. All this shit I put out is fucking incredible. I can say that because, motherfucker,
You know what? I think I'm gonna just play Street
like,
Corner
look at the
Records.
records I played. Like, you heard JD for the first time from me. You heard Black Milk for the first time from me. You heard Guilty Simpson for the first time from me. You heard fucking time and time again, man. Danny Brown, you probably heard for the first time from me. You might have heard Twami for the first time from me. And then 70 fucking records after that.
How do you even find the financing as an aside? How you even find
like, shout to Fat Beats. They can eat a dick though. But I had a situation, a P&D with Fat Beats. They fronted they fronted everything. But that's a whole nother conversation we'll talk about
at another time.
Sometime when I have a little bit more to drink.
You gotta go get your kids soon, man. It's what time is it your time? Is it 5 yet?
No, it's on. We can go for like 15 more, or we can tap out. I'm gonna be at I'm opening up for Patton Oswalt tonight.
He's a cool guy, man.
Yeah.
Say what's up. He wrote the You know me, I'm unrememberable except by people who remember. Patton wrote the intro to George Wallace, who's a great guy and a friend and a mentor. He wrote the intro to George Wallace's book. And
Wow.
he's one of the nicest, smartest dudes
Yeah.
I've ever met. And he can literally fit into so many different genres. And he's so funny. He has that Larry David talent of being able to pay a joke off way, way later.
Yeah.
Like I keep to people who hate Curb Your Enthusiasm, I'm like, I don't know why. The dude is making jokes that last the length of an entire season. And then he's making jokes that assemble.
Yo, that's so
one
true, bro.
Long
that's
joke.
So true.
And if you don't watch the whole season, you don't understand. Like the joke didn't pay off. Like the Revenge Restaurant, it didn't pay off until the end when his whole shit burnt down, and then he was just like, it's like, oh man, like you don't get it until he pays for it.
Yeah.
And he always pays for being a dick.
Yeah.
But he's so funny in the process, dude. I was mad that it appeared to me that this last season got cut short.
Yeah, yo, when it finished, I was like, it was like next Thursday or Sunday or whenever the new episode comes, and I'm like, yo, are you kidding me? Like that shit didn't.
No,
it
just literally, it was just like, it was like you saw it and you're like, okay, well, it'll be on next week. And then when it didn't come back, you were like, where's the rest of it?
Right.
And if in a way, I kind of feel like, you ever hear the famous Larry David joke where he went on stage? I may have told you this one before. He supposedly went on stage and he grabbed the microphone, not grabbed it, but he grabs the microphone, he gets ready to do a set, and then he thinks, and then he says, nah, I don't have anything. And literally walks out. So it felt like that to me. It's like he tricked us. Like it was like, hey, what's up, Psalmist? It's like he just basically was like,
but that's hard as fuck. Like that's his show. That's like Doom Poster shit. Motherfuckers used to complain, and I'm like, yo, I would rather see a Doom. If he wants to give me a Doom Poster, I want to see a fucking Doom Poster, yo.
I think a friend of mine, his girlfriend, who's actually a close friend of mine as well, and myself, all got Doom Postered, but it was by not Dio. What's her name? She used to be 07's lead singer. She's super dope. She made Breathe Me. Oh God, I gotta look at my computer right now. I went to her show, and she was standing still the whole time. Like she was on a podium, and a microphone was in front of her, and I was like, she's not moving. And then she had these other dancers moving around, and I was like, what's going on with Sia? I paid like $80.
Oh, word.
So she was like, and they were moving around, and they were doing the modern dance thing, and you know how like they do the press against you, like they were doing. And I was like, how do I know this is Sia? Like, how do I really like? How do I know? Like, I don't believe this is her. And they literally, she didn't move. They moved her around the stage. Do you know what I mean?
Get out of here.
Like a dude came out who's one of the modern dancers, and he pushed her from one area to the other area. And I was like, she didn't move. Like, first of all, I'm amazed because I think if I stood still for an hour, I would have to go to the bathroom or, I'd have to move. She literally was just there singing, dude. It was the weirdest, and you couldn't see her face because you know how she has that hair? I think I got duped, dude. I think she basically was in Australia kicking it, watching TV and laughing. Like, I got a whole arena full of people watching somebody else sing my records, and all I had to do was go find some modern dance people and fly them out there and put them on stage with a me lookalike. The Doom Poster thing, I'm not mad at it. I think it's that people forget that you're there for the music. Other people are there to try and meet him or be in the presence of him.
Yeah.
And, the music is your experience of him. My favorite music is always the recorded version. It's always the one that was assembled specifically to be consumed. Has verses. When I liked Maze, and I remember saying to my dad, he took us to see Maze in Cincinnati or Cleveland, one of the two cities in an arena, and it was dope. But I was not as engaged by that as I was a record. I don't know. How do you feel about live performances?
I feel you on that. It's really frustrating how bad some of the best rappers' live shows are.
You don't like watching people walk back and forth across the stage like they got a bad ankle?
I just want you to sound like the record. I hate motherfuckers yelling. I don't like those artists. I don't like rap like that where you're like yelling. I want you to talk to me, not like yell at me. Like, fuck you, dog. What the fuck you talking to? You know what I mean? Like, I don't want to hear that shit.
Here's a question for you. Why haven't more MCs utilized both the visual and technological advances in live music? Like, since you can literally reproduce your voice anywhere.
Because the motherfuckers that are the best rappers, that's all they're good at. The best rappers are really good at rapping, but you gotta hold their hand and walk them across the street. You know what I mean? A lot of them, they're fucking geniuses. They're not necessarily that brilliant at a lot of other things. I've seen that firsthand. I'm not taking no shots. I'm just saying, like,
could you imagine if you look at what the resources that EDM has? Imagine if those resources were like put on the presentation of a really well assembled album, like the graphics, the animation, the gorillas essentially is what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
If you're gonna be, if you don't want to be, like if you're not Busta Rhymes, like if you can't push your energy on me, then you can at least remix your whole shit and be like, I got this DJ, I got this band and these producers, and boom, this huge LED wall behind me, and you get to see this incredible show with these incredible effects.
Right.
And you get to hear something different. In fact, you'll probably buy the album at the show because that's the only place you can buy it.
Well,
and each,
I mean, they're not exactly breeding creativity these days, man.
How would you breed creativity?
If they're not breeding, I mean, they were barely breeding that shit back in the day. Shit was dope. Those are anomalies because those are created. Gorillas was one motherfucker's idea. And that motherfucker is a fucking brilliant ass motherfucker. And you're not going to see another one probably ever do it like he did it.
No. Joey Joe, you're right. Daft Punk does do that, but we're saying, why aren't hip-hop artists, Daft Punk not being a hip-hop artist, why aren't they doing that? Meaning, if you saw a Pete Rock and CL Smooth level album.
I just want to hear a record I can play from front to back. And there's a lot of them, actually. A lot of really fucking incredible music that exists contemporarily in underground hip-hop.
Where do you find your music?
Blogs. I steal all that shit. I buy the records though. You know what I mean? I'm not paying
absolutely.
I'm not gonna pay. I mean, if I catch a Bandcamp link, I'll try to support that shit probably half the time. But a lot of these motherfuckers don't put their shit on Bandcamp. Like, what the fuck are you doing? Put it somewhere.
Why would you not put it on Bandcamp? That's all your money.
So many rappers are throwing up the fucking links, and there's not a destination where somebody can pay for your fucking music. Why? How could you not how could you fucking forget to give your fans an opportunity to spend money with you? I don't give a fuck what the landscape is, man. Like, that's the most stupid fucking shit I've ever heard about. You gotta fucking, I'm not gonna start clicking everywhere. I'm not gonna do extra hard ass work to figure out how to spend some money with you.
Nah. I mean, here's a question again. Oh, by the way, and again, I don't want to let that slip through. Are there any blogs that you recommend?
They seem to keep like disappearing. I don't really have one right now. The two that I was fucking with, like, out of here. Let me know if any of y'all got good ones in the chat. Throw one in the chat.
If you guys got good blogs that you follow or
usually like when channels out, I'll fucking just type like the name of the album, 2022 zip or like 320 zip and see what pops up. A lot of them are kind of generic download sites where it's not really a download site. It's like spam shit.
Yeah, SoundCloud definitely is dope. Somebody was saying, fuck with SoundCloud. Honestly, I've found some interesting stuff on SoundCloud.
Yeah.
It's,
SoundCloud's a whole other world. Absolutely.
It just is amazing. I think there's a lot more amazing music out there than we realize. It's just literally now the internet. Remember how SMPTE used to sound when somebody would turn the volume all the way up?
Yep.
it sounds the entire world is starting to get like a giant white noise, a giant like.
I found
You know,
Juicy on SoundCloud, like, and that Attention Kmart Choppers is like the craziest fucking beat tape ever. It's fucking insane. You gotta listen to that, bro. That's just stupid. He took all the Kmart music, made a beat tape out of it. It's fucking unbelievable.
Stop it.
I heard it. He did shit on SoundCloud called Timber, and it's crazy. It was like 12 minutes, 15 minutes, and I was like, "Yo, the shit is really fire, man. Like, you got your own little shit. It's really, really dope."
Attention Kmart shoppers.
And I was like, "Give me a B side. I need like another 15 minutes for the B side of the record, and we put that shit out." And he was like, "Word, I'll do that for you, but I just finished this shit. Let me give it to you." And it was the Attention Kmart Choppers shit. And that shit blew my motherfucking brains out. Like, that shit was ridiculous. Like, that shit is unbelievable. He took all the music they used to play at Kmart. It would be like, Muzak, easy listening kind of versions of like pop hits and the little, Attention Kmart Choppers or Attention Kmart Shoppers. But he made it Attention Kmart Choppers. And he whooped all that shit's ass. It's unbelievable. It's one of the illest, like, thematic beat tapes that you'll ever fucking hear in your life. And it's on Street Corner Music. It's called Juicy the Emissary, Attention Kmart Choppers. It's fantastic.
Yo, everybody, go to Street Corner Records. Look for Attention Kmart Shoppers.
Yeah, the records are sold out, so you got to go to the Bandcamp. The Bandcamp is streetcornermusic.bandcamp.com. It's unbelievable. Like, fuck out of here.
Vaporware. There's a couple people start putting the lo-fi sounds. Vaporware are some places. Have you ever heard of any of these?
Nah.
These appear to be
like blogs.
Possible blogs. Vaporware is also a kind of I think it's a genre of some sort. But yeah, man. I know vaporware that I always say stuff is vaporware when people tell you, like, here's a piece of software that could do this and blah 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 blah, and then you download it and you like, well, I'll pay for it so I can see if it really works.
Right.
You pay your $7 and then you're like, this is bullshit. This can't do what it said it was gonna do. But that's life, man. That's life, like the song. Dude, it's been an incredible conversation. Hopefully everybody got something out of this. We definitely got to do it again. So I'll definitely be hitting you up about that.
Like, we got to do this shit like once a month, bro. Like, for real.
Absolutely. I'm putting it on my calendar. And I think I'm going to hit up Mars, DJ Mars, like maybe in 2 days and get Mars on to talk. Then you got to figure out a way. I think I'm going to open up, because you gave me a gang of music to work through.
Yeah.
I think I'm going to use that for 15 minutes of fire.
Yeah.
A dude sent me an album to play, but I think I'm going to belay that. And I'm going to download it and, of course, get around to it. But I think right now, it's important to dig through a lot of the stuff that you already sent. I'm pretty sure I already put it into and organized it into my Serato. It's tough. Serato's it's a curse and a blessing. All
technology is, so you know what I mean?
Yeah, it's definitely, but I played some of the stuff, and now I'm just like, you know what? I'm just gonna go in and just dig through all of this stuff and rock it, the rest of the week, and then try and put a list together. Tom Karuna is the dude who made Black Gold, by the way.
Okay.
I'll share that with you, whether they want to sue me or not. I bought a $100 piece of vinyl, and I paid for my download on the record, so I kind of feel like, it's not musical theft, because I feel like nobody should charge you $100 for a piece of vinyl.
Right.
I feel like I'm getting sucked into the NFT game.
Oh, man. Fuck all that. No, I mean, but if a motherfucker wants to spend $100 on your record, let him. Don't say he can't.
No, I mean, if I can't find it, honestly, and I really want it on vinyl.
Well, secondhand resale shit, that's understandable. But I'm saying in the first place, where the artists can fucking capitalize, what I've been doing is we do like 10 test presses. The test presses are $100 a piece. It's only 10 of them. You know what I mean?
You're right. And these are actual test pressings. These aren't acetates.
No, test press. You just get extra test presses, put the word in for the extra ones.
Do you have any acetates left?
I got some acetates laying around. Absolutely.
That used to be such a fantastic, weird phenomenon.
Yeah, right.
Back kill more than 5 times. That's the end of your record.
Fucking dub plates, man.
Dub plates. Oh my god, dude. Remember I used to do what was the name of the Jamaican label I did? VP Records.
Yeah, hell yeah.
I think I might have given you a copy of the Sister Nancy full 12-inch repress on that. That was on VP.
Yep, absolutely.
I was like, I remember the dude was like, you mind sending these out? Because remember, I got a fax line and an international phone, and I started working for the labels directly. That shit was so expensive. Like, I was like, why am I doing this? Like, I'm not getting paid enough to pay the phone bill. Like, what am I doing here? But, you know, just to be a part of some of those releases was, you know, was fun. It was fun working for Paris, man, and doing Paris and Eric's records, man.
Word.
You know? So, yeah, man, absolutely. Let's get together and do this again. Everybody, you know, it should be on my YouTube in the next half hour to an hour. It will be on my Facebook. It will be in the archive because we didn't play any music, which means that no record labels or anybody can come through and try and say that a record that Houseshoes owns is actually their record, and we want to claim it. Yep. Because once they claim something, I don't know if you notice this, once they claim something, it's impossible to get it released, even though they release it themselves.
Right.
Garbage.
Yeah, fuck these selfish bastards, man. We promoting their shit, man. How the fuck you gonna, you know what I mean? It's so backwards. Like, I wish that I had an opportunity to have millions of people add my shit to a clip on social media. Why would you fucking say no? Because you can't monetize it? You stupid, greedy son of a bitch. You still got every dollar in the fucking bank. You know what I mean?
They're a bank. Realize at this point, record labels are a bank. So they're dumb, like Bank of America. Bank of America has millions of people attempting to bank with them and want to bank with them, but they have to charge people $35 because their account, they put a check in their account and it didn't clear until midnight, but I took the deposit out at 10, so I charged you $35. Like, there have been at least 4 lawsuits about that, and they continue to have the same practices, and they want to know, how do we get more minorities to bank with us?
Right.
How do we get more lower income people to bank with us? Like, they can't afford to bank with you. You penalize everybody for everything. Why? In fact, why use you when I can get an ATM card and just get an online bank and never go in the bank? And I don't go in the bank anyway.
I ain't never had a credit card in my motherfucking life, man. I got a debit. I never, not once. I have debit cards. I spend my own money. I've never had a credit card in my life. I knew so many motherfuckers when I was like 19 years old that had like $20,000, $30,000 in credit card debt.
We went to college,
like, I'm cool, man. What the fuck? Why? I got my own money. Why would I spend some? I hate that that's how you have to live. I don't care. Once again, if I don't care, kind of fucked up. But, you know, you're supposed to have credit for your credit rating. And guess what, motherfucker? I have no credit because I spend my own money. How am I a victim of spending my own money? That's what you should be teaching motherfuckers to do.
We should have
but there's no profits in that. There's no industry in that. You know what I mean?
We should have economics classes that teach real economics, meaning practical economics.
Yep.
We learn about the concept of the way the big system works, but when does that ever benefit you? Knowing how the massive system works that you can't be a part of unless you get a master's degree or whatever and go to Wall Street and get to the highest mid-range level. None of that information really makes any sense.
Yeah.
You know, but you know. Here, when you walk into college, first day one, when you walk into college, the first thing they do is like, hey, I'm from MBNA or I'm from Bank of America. I'm from, you know, Wachovia. Would you like to have would you like to get one of these credit cards? You know, it comes with a $10,000 limit.
Yeah.
Oh, well,
yeah, and you get a free water bottle.
Made from contaminated plastic. So,
Jeez.
Once you get cancer, you're gonna need that credit card because you're gonna have to pay for that surgery to get.
Run that bitch. You go in the emergency room.
Oh, dude, Dude, and it just, because, we getting old. I had my colonoscopy. They were like, literally, like, I walked in to get the colonoscopy. They were like, will you be paying your deductible, like, with credit? Or I was like, yeah, I
Yo,
thought
I
I
went.
got
I went to
one.
get that shit. I went to get that shit like in the fall, and they were like, "Well, we're gonna give you the endoscopy too," and that's in the mouth. So I was like, "God damn, I'm getting fucking you motherfuckers running a train on me, yo! Like, what the fuck, bro?"
They made you into the human
Yo, and
centipede.
they hit me with that propofol, and I was like, "Oh, Mike, I understand how that motherfucker died. That propofol was a motherfucker,
You
bro.
don't know what it's doing to you. You're
It's like
completely
a movie
conscious.
scene. It's a movie scene where they like press it into the IV, and you literally it just starts fading. Like,
Oh my
and
God, dude.
it's like you're mad because you feel so good. You want to be conscious.
Dude, they gave me that. You know how they say there's some people that like it takes a minute? Dude, I went
That's
from
it.
conscious to unconscious. And snap a finger. And when I came out, I was really awake. I was like, no, I'm ready to go. Like, I'm fine. And I was putting my clothes on, and the lady, and I was like, did the doctor at least come in here? Like, is he coming in here to say? She's like, he was already here. I was like, that's not right. If he came in here, he knew I was unconscious. Like, what did I say? Like, what did I say? You should have me on tape. That's ridiculous. There's no proof that he even talked to me. I don't remember him coming in here. She's like, you don't remember? Like, looked at me like I was crazy. Like, what? He was just here. If
Man,
that's
I
true,
literally understood why Michael Jackson died because that's the best that I felt in my life.
that
It was
dude
like
wanted
about
to.
3 seconds.
That dude, he got it. He was like, I need that drug where you can turn me off and on like a wind up doll. He wanted a red button on his back. Click off. Mike, are you ready to go to the concert? Yeah. What happened? Oh, you slept.
Oh,
You're fine.
Jesus.
So stoned. So high. That's got to be dangerous. That has to do something to you. You can't keep doing that. I mean, it'll kill you, obviously. That's what happened to Michael Jackson. But yeah, I've never got knocked out and then woken back up and then basically not even like a who, what, why, when, where. Just like I woke up and I was like getting dressed and was like, you mean you completely probed my insides and I had no idea? They had to get that from the people at Area 54. The aliens gave them that. That's what the aliens are using. That's why when all these people say what they remember, they're lying. Because the aliens have to have something at least that good.
I was just frustrated because it was like, yo, man, y'all told me y'all seen some shit in the numbers that was kind of off, and then you did that and you found nothing, and it's supposed to be good, but you still ain't telling me what's wrong. Something's wrong, but you ain't found it yet. You better fucking do your fucking job, homie.
The worst part of exactly. You need to figure it out. The worst part of that whole experience, to be honest with you, is drinking that fucking radiator fluid.
Oh,
That is disgusting.
you literally drank some?
No, the fluid they give you, they say you have to drink this to flush your system out.
Oh my fucking God, yo.
It's glycanol.
So much. It's like a gallon. It's like fucking, yeah, it's like a fucking
It's a whole
antifreeze bottle worth of shit.
No, but I'm saying that's the stuff they take out the poison stuff in antifreeze. That's glycanol or whatever. Like it pumps up, it just keeps flushing through your system.
Yeah,
that's disgusting, dude. Like literally, I didn't think it was working. I'm gonna be honest with you. Like I drank like 4 or 5 glasses of it,
bro. I was having magnificently unholy shits, bro.
And then when it gets done, once you get done shitting and it's just liquid, you're just like, this is bizarre. Like what's going on here?
Kind of halfway through, I was like, this shit is terrible, but you think about getting the colonic, which is a whole other thing where they just flush water through your shit.
Yeah.
And it's kind of like we do that for ourselves, I guess, when we get the colonoscopy because they want to clear the shit out. So, because they say that you hold like
pounds
and pounds of shit in your ass. Like,
but see, I did a colonoscopy and I weighed myself before and after, and I was like, there's not that big of a weight difference. Like, I was like, they said it was pounds in there, but shit must be light. Like, because I felt like it was, what I'm saying? Like, I was kind of like, why am I not light? Why don't I feel lighter?
Right.
Then Then I went to Whole Foods and loaded up, dude. After that shit,
Ooh, we left that motherfucker. We went right. I think we went right to In-N-Out.
you didn't
Fucking
even
amazing.
try and put any good food in. You just went straight for
Oh
it.
no, come on! I don't eat good food, bro. I don't eat that shit. I eat a salad like 3 times a year if you lucky.
This dude's like, I'm from Detroit. I'm looking for some shit like that happens. I'll need to go to Coney Island.
Where the fuck are the Coney dogs at? You know what I mean? Oh,
Oh my god, dude. Yeah, man. It's a whole process, dude. That getting older is a whole process. And the funny thing is, you have older friends, and they tell you about stuff, and you're just like, "What? What's happening with the bathroom? What happens when you go to the bathroom?"
yo, I will say, as an adult, I'll be 47. I'll be 47 years old this month. As an adult, my favorite television show of all time has grown to be the Bernie Mac show.
Huh?
Absolutely.
Because you're a dad.
Absolutely, yo. Like fuck the, and not even on the funny Cosby shit, whatever. Cosby show was the shit, regardless of Bill Cosby. Cosby show was the shit. But fuck.
He's
Cosby.
a rapist, but he's a rapist, but he's also the guy that produced the album that gave us 2 Tribe Called Quest hits.
Well, he's fucking Cliff Huxtable too. Cliff Huxtable wasn't a rapist. You know what I mean? How about that? Nobody said that. Cliff Huxtable wasn't a rapist. Bill Cosby was. Anyway, Cosby show was the shit. That was Thursday night. In that era, Cosby show, Different World, Cheers, Night Court, L.A. Law. Fire. Super fire. You know what I mean?
NBC, dude. NBC had the greatest lineup during that period ever.
Yo, but the Bernie Mac show? Fuck out of here. As a 47-year-old man, there's nothing that I can relate to more. That television show, there's nothing I can relate to more.
Sometimes you find yourself saying,
with a woman you know what I mean? I have stepchildren. You know what I mean?
Do you find yourself talking to America sometimes?
Oh man, yeah, but I usually call America a cocksucker.
Like when they elected Trump, you were like, "You cocksucker."
Oh man, absolutely, bro. Secret Service, we all know about that.
They never came and bothered you. See, you're fine. They never came to bother you, did they? Oh boy. Here we go. What the hell is that? What is that? What am I looking at, man?
That's the United States Secret Service special agent.
What?
Yeah, man. We'll talk about that on the next episode.
Yeah,
bro.
we have to talk about that another time. That is crazy. See? You're talking shit and
yeah, man. Let's figure out a schedule. Let's figure out a routine, like maybe like, I don't know, second Sunday or some shit like that. I don't know, something that makes sense. Just
or the first.
Let's do this often, bro. Let's do it once a month, bro. This just feels right.
The first Sunday of the month. Let me look at this stupid. Oh, my calendar's dead. This is the first Sunday of this month, isn't it?
It is.
Yep. It can't be.
Yep.
Yeah, it is. It's the first Sunday of the month.
Yep.
Let's do it.
Bang bang.
I'm putting it in my calendar, which translates to my Google calendar, which translates to my Apple calendar.
Yeah, and we'll start the next show off with the Secret Service story.
The first Sunday of the month is April 3rd, which is cool because it's only a couple of days after April Fool's Days.
Yeah, and it's going to be dope too because like Street Corner has a record basically coming out at the top of the month every month.
Awesome!
Too. So,
that's dope. Okay, so yeah, we're doing that. I'm literally putting it in my calendar right now.
Fantastic.
Everybody, don't forget that. Come through. Will be April 3rd. Another Creative Conversations with myself and DJ Houseshoes. Maybe we'll have a special guest. Maybe not. I might have to get fiber put into my house so that it actually stays, super stable. Because I can see you glitch out every once in a while, and then I can see, like somebody said during the point of this show, at some point my mic went out for like.
Well, that could be their shit too. Understand that because you were 100 over here the whole time. I didn't see any glitches or any sound issues.
The internet is crazy, dude. I mean, people don't understand as the internet is a connection of its multiple networks, and you're going across the country and you're going through all these relays. Look at that fuzzy guy. So you still got cats. How many of those you got?
Just one. Just one.
He looks like a nice guy.
She's a good cat.
She seems like she's nice.
Yeah, she's super fun.
Is she like a lot of those smart cats that have opposable thumbs and can do stuff, and you're like, how did you do that?
She be building like remote control cars and shit.
A friend of mine's cat would reach up, it would open the door, and then it would go in the bathroom, and it could also turn the water on. And I was just like, that's opposable thumbs. You know what I'm saying, are what's supposed to make us different. If you have opposable thumbs, I mean, imagine.
Yeah, she's fucking nuts. She just climbed into this little hole. She's fucking nuts, yo.
Bananas. You got a beautiful collection over there, dude. We're doing this again, April 3rd. I'll see you guys tomorrow. I think all this week I've got thousands of records in here. I don't know that I have the Kmart record, but I'll have to go buy it if I don't. And I'm going to drop this stuff throughout the week. So if you show up 8:45 here on Twitch, it'll also restream on Facebook. But as you know, Facebook will erase anything that you play musically, whether you own it or not.
Wow.
It is. It totally will.
I will go on record and say Facebook can definitely suck my dick and all of my balls. No offense to anybody, of course.
Hey. Did you say Facebook and Meta?
Yeah. Man, fuck. Motherfuckers are literally about to tap out. They're like, oh, yeah, this real world shit. It's another place for us finally.
Hey, I just bought a house next to Snoop? Really?
Oh, my God.
No. On the internet.
Yo, I literally had an idea where I was like, you know what? I should buy a Shoes house in the metaverse. And then I was like, you know what? I really don't give a fuck about that shit. I just don't care.
I'm thinking about what if I had a radio station and a record store in the metaverse?
Yeah. I'd rather have a radio station and a record store, a brick and mortar record store in real life.
I absolutely would. I just don't have the thousands of dollars that it takes, to ramp up.
Exactly. And that's the problem with the metaverse.
Is that anybody with no money?
Example of fucking that's the main problem with this generation. Not to be the old fucking grouch before we leave, but there's something that lack of investment over an entire generation builds. If you never had to pay or put money down or invest in what you do, where you can just fucking get a crack code of some shit and then. You know what I mean? Like you making the shit on your keyboard and
no, there's no physical labor that goes into it.
And I'm not saying that we're any better than anybody because we had to pay for shit, but you damn sure like worked a lot harder when you spent thousands of dollars to do what the fuck you was doing, and it definitely narrowed the field.
No, it definitely
like
does.
Everybody that wasn't supposed to be making beats, a lot less motherfuckers that wasn't supposed to be making beats. Weren't making beats when you had to spend thousands of dollars to do it. You know what I mean?
Oh, 100%.
Yeah.
Tell you what else, Ty. Something else that Ice Cube said. He said one day it's only going to be the old school people that can do it.
Right.
And that's just like a lot of other technology that people have missed. Meaning, you remember submarines, they used to actually have to physically bend in three-dimensional space to make submarines. We've lost that technology. There are a lot of people like these special roofs that they have on houses. People don't have the ability to do those anymore.
Right.
At some point in time, we're not going to have great woodworkers. We're not going to have the same level of craftsmen. I watched that, is it called Here Gunstaman or whatever it is, on Instagram. If anybody wants to see it, there's an Instagram where it's all these people in other countries doing amazing things by hand.
Yeah.
Like there's a dude that was bricking up a house. I've never seen anybody or machine put bricks down that fast. Like this dude he would throw the stuff on there and then he'd place the brick on there. He'd smooth.
Yo, my kids showed me the videos where it's like a motherfucker making a house from scratch.
Right.
In the middle of nowhere with like a submerged swimming pool and tunnels that go into them, and they take rocks and crush them and make their own concrete, and it's fucking amazing, yo.
Right. They're literally.
But we looking at fucking Instagram, cat videos and shit.
Because the women have on tight latex and they have trap music behind them. And there's nothing more interesting than somebody holding their hair out to the side like this.
Well, why does every fucking video have to have a fucking soundtrack? Why does your 7-second long Instagram reel have to be the most popular song? And why does your little video with the kid in it have it saying that same shit that all the videos with all the other kids? It's humanity. And they're fucking simple fucks, cocksuckers. I'm not for everybody, man. I'm really not for a lot of people. I'm really not. And I don't care. I know I do shit and say shit just through my fucking natural behavior that cuts out a lot of my clientele, but I don't give a fuck, bro. Once again,
as long as you still have a clientele, that's what matters. For me, I just don't, I ask a lot of questions in my head. Like, why do people wear leopard? What's sexy about leopard print? I don't get it. Why, how did Birkenstocks come back in style? And are they cool just because they have different colors? I mean, who told you to go outside the house with a shower cap and Crocs on? Just a litany.
Yeah, Return of the Mac is the worst song ever.
Like, literally.
That's the whole episode. See, that whole episode would be on like nostalgia versus quality.
Yeah, just Return of the Mac. Like, I used to play that when I was on the radio, and I would sit in the booth like this.
I broke that record on the stage into pieces. I used to do that. You know that. You was there. You seen it. I would take records I ain't like. We got to go. Fuck. I would break records in pieces. I would get it from the promoter. I would never pay for the record, but it was a shitty record. First record I did it with was If I Ruled the World. Nas and Lauryn Hill, y'all love that record, but that record was such a bitch-ass record after Illmatic. I was like, man, fuck this shit. Fuck this old fucking weird.
Two of the greatest rappers of all time make the most commercial record of all time.
Bang!
In no way creative.
I was like, you know what? Bang! Somebody still has a piece of that record on a shelf somewhere. People would take them pieces home. They were fucking souvenirs. You know what I mean? Yeah, we got stories to tell, bro. Let's get back.
All right, man. Look, take care of yourself. Enjoy your evening with your kids. I'm going to start making the mixes for the week, and then I got to go work on a television show and dub some stuff.
No doubt, brother.
A fantastic talking to you. Thank you, everybody, for coming out. Thanks, Miss J UK, for moderating. I hope you guys follow the channel. We'll be back with more interesting conversations. We definitely are going to be here April 3rd. We may be doing something beforehand. If I got an interesting guest, I'll definitely be like, yo, Houseshoes, you got to come on because we're going to talk to this guy and I'm going to make him mad. And I figure you should just contribute because when he leaves, he should be like, I'm never talking to that dude again in life. It's been fantastic. One of the best people that I've worked with and had the benefit of interacting with over the last 35 years. DJ Houseshoes, curator and owner of an incredible record label that you guys all need to go and shop at. Give them the information.
streetcornerrecords.com. Tap in. Somebody put the link up.
Somebody put the link for the record label up, please.
streetcornerscm.com.
Street Corner Records. We'll see you guys next time. Take care.
Peace, peace.
All right, I'm shutting it down. Oh, no. Wait. Oh, now I got to go in the closet to do it.